So right now, you're being aggressive, right? So you're violating my Third Amendment right because I'm quartering with an enemy combatant.
It is what it is. It is what it is. We're all sick from disinformation. We all live for twisted sensations. Kids are safe but too well behaved to feel. Never heal with the fakes. Go make something real. If what you've always believed in was not considered treason, business will be booming, writing news with no meaning. Take it or leave it, the way you see it is the end result. Angels and demons.
What's up, guys? Hope everyone's having a good day. Welcome. What's up, everyone? Pamela, welcome. Patty, what's up? Vlad, and I'm not sure. Welcome, whoever you are. I can't really pronounce that, but welcome. Yeah, so we're gonna be doing ghost stories and urban legends. If you want to come up and share maybe a personal ghost story or just a cool ghost story that you know of, or even an urban legend, you guys are more than welcome to come on up and tell us all about that. No, PayPal Patty, that's a scary story. Mod you, I'll make you a mod on mine. I can't even go on your channel. I'm blocked from your channel, Patty. You blocked me, or Selena did. Someone blocked me. I can't go on your channel. I'm banned. What's up, Aaron? Yeah, so we're gonna be doing some ghost stories. I hope everyone's interested. I have one. Oh, you unblocked me? Oh, okay. I didn't know you did. Oh, but yeah, so this should be fun. I'm hoping we can get some people up here to tell us some ghost stories. First of all, how many people who are in here right now believe in ghosts? Let's take a survey here. Of the 10 people we have in here, who believes in ghosts and who does not believe in ghosts? I'm not modding him. I'm not modding him. Vlad and Jimmy have been ghosts the last couple weeks. Yeah, Jimmy hasn't been here in a while, and Vlad's kind of like up in the air sometimes. Well, Vlad's busy with his newspaper and all that. By the way, how's that newspaper going? All right, so Extortion Watchers, everyone. That's Extortion Watchers. He changed his name. I realized that like earlier this week. I'm like, police de-escalation. I'm like, who the hell is this? I look and it's you. Okay, cool. Yeah, so great. I think there's something to ghosts. I believe. It's just too much unexplained things in the world. You know, I tend to believe that ghosts will explain some of it. You know, for sure. I see Vlad all over the place. Oh, so Vlad just doesn't like coming here anymore. Is that what it is? Huh? Vlad? You just don't like coming here? Not sure if I believe, but I love watching. Yeah, ghost stories are freaking awesome. So anyway, so any of you that want to come up and tell us about one of your favorite ghost stories, have you met the ghost in the basement yet? Or even if you maybe not ghosts, maybe you believe there's some urban legends or whatnot. 'Cause there's a lot of good urban legends out there, uh, like off Creepypasta or whatever. Creepypasta is a good site if you want ghost stories and all the creepy paranormal crap. You guys should check out Creepypasta. Great site. No, but I saw a couple before. It's all in your head. All right, there we go. All right. All right, so I guess I'll go ahead and start since no one's here yet, really. All right, so I found some cool ones. There's some ghost sightings. Well, you know, Patty automatically disliked it. More than likely. All right, so here we go. Mine was I found some on the ghost of Anne Boleyn. Now, I'm sure everyone remembers Anne Boleyn as one of Henry VIII's wives. I disagree, Pamela Morrison. When I saw real estate clients had to sign waivers to view this one house is not coming. Oh, okay. right, so here we go. So here we go. The Tower of London. Anne Boleyn's ghost has been seen on numerous occasions at the Tower of London. It is said her ghost haunts the place of her death, beheaded within the Tower of London on the 19th of May, 1536. Perhaps the most spectacular ghost story relating to Anne is that of a captain of the guard who saw a light flickering in the locked Chapel Royal late one night. He tried to uncover the source of the light by climbing up a ladder and was met with an unbelievable scene unfolding inside. A procession of knights and ladies dressed in ancient costumes pacing the chapel. Their leader, an elegant female whose face he could not see, but whose figure resembled that of Anne Boleyn's in portraits he had seen. The procession later disappears. What do you think of that one? And another one. In, eight, in 1864, a soldier on duty near the lieutenant's lodgings made another sighting of Anne's ghost. He claimed to have confronted and challenged a white figure, and when his challenge met no response, he plunged his bayonet into the figure. To his complete shock, the weapon did not meet flesh, instead went straight through the woman. According to the traditional story, an officer lodged in the Bloody Tower saw the whole event take place from his window. There are waivers found that everyone entered at their own risk. Oh, wow, okay. Also, another one is Anne's ghost is said to appear each Christmas at Hever Castle, her childhood home. She is said to manifest beneath a great oak tree where Anne and Henry courted. Her ghost also walks across the bridge, which crosses over the River Eden on castle grounds. And then she's also sighted at Windsor Castle. Anne Boleyn has been seen standing at the window in the Dean's Cloister at Windsor Castle. Another Windsor ghost story claims that Anne Boleyn has been seen running down a corridor screaming, sometimes clutching her head. Then also has been spotted at Hampton Court. Anne's ghost has been seen at Hampton Court wearing a blue or black dress. Some accounts claim she is headless during these manifestations. What's up, Kat? All right, so Rochford Hall says Essex is a manor house said to be where King Henry VIII first cast his eyes on a young Anne Boleyn. The Boleyns owned the home from 1515, a home claimed to be a setting of secret meetings between King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. These are even rumors of a secret tunnel system beneath the home that King Henry VIII used as his discreet escape route from the house. According to a previous owner, there are stories of sightings of a headless lady and feelings of extreme cold in one of the rooms. Is this the ghost of Anne Boleyn? Hey, what's up, Kat? What's up, Randy? All right, so Blicking Hall. Perhaps the story that I find most difficult to believe is that of Anne Boleyn's headless specter arriving at Blickling Hall in Norfolk, clutching her severed head in a phantom carriage drawn by a headless coachman and 4 headless horses. On arrival, the carriage and horses disappear, leaving Anne to roam the corridors and grounds until sunrise. This manifestation is said to occur each year on the anniversary of her execution, May 19th. So just a few sightings of Anne Boleyn as a ghost in and around England, around her childhood home, around Windsor Castle, just around all kinds of different places. And a lot of them are, are headless because, well, she lost her head and all. So those are stories, some of the stories that I came up with. Anybody else wants to come up and either share some stories or talk about some close encounters maybe they come up with? It doesn't have to be just ghost stories or urban legends. Anything paranormal we'll open it up to. What's up, Chief? Yeah, it does seem that way. A lot of I'm curious to wonder if there are any ghosts of Jack the Ripper's victims. Are any of his victims known to be ghosts? You know they couldn't be. I'm sure there's at least a few that would probably feel that they're not ready to move on yet. I don't think I've ever read anything on any of the ghosts from Jack the Ripper, but okay, Randy. Yeah, there's just all kinds of cool stuff, man. Paranormal activity is just it's just very interesting. It's really cool stuff. And of course, you got urban legends, which are really freaking awesome. I love urban legends. That's true, man. It could easily just be easily explained away by tricks in the mind. Like before I came on, I was watching a lot of like ghost sightings on YouTube, right? And I'm looking at them like, a lot of these can be explained away pretty easily. Like a lot of stuff they're showing where it could be just tricks of your eye, the shadows, or maybe you're using an old tape, and some tapes, depending on how old it is, you can get phantom images, like from a previous recording. It could be easily that's a good explanation for maybe some stuff that's caught on tape. Or it could just be doctored completely to make it look that way. There's many reasons why you can catch ghosts on tape, and then of course maybe they really do catch some ghosts. It's very, very possible. Oh no, what do you think, Kat? Do you believe in ghosts? What's up, Chief?
Hey, how's it going, my friend?
All right. We're talking about ghost stories and urban legends.
Cool, that sounds good. I think a lot of those ghost stories come out of the battlefields around the Civil War. I've heard a lot of stories about that.
Oh yeah, like phantom battles and all that. I've heard about that type of stuff too. Now, what about you, Chief? Do you believe in ghosts? Chief?
Yeah, I think there's probably been a lot of examples that would suggest that supernatural things may be there.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you yourself ever seen a ghost?
I have not, but I've seen some funny things at night, and I don't know if I would actually call it supernatural sighting, but there is some funny things out there in the dark. Like that one person said, tricks of the mind. I mean, sometimes just the tricks of the mind get you so scared you believe something's there, or absolutely.
Right. Now, do you have any ghost stories like maybe you've heard that you would like to share? That's what we're doing, or maybe some urban legends. Ooh, what about any all of your times in law enforcement? Has any officer ever told you of a ghost sighting that you can remember?
Yeah, I have.
Ooh.
I've heard police officers say, this was back in the early '90s. He was doing patrol at night, and he was driving his cruiser down the road, and he caught a glimpse of this young woman on the side of the road in a white dress, and he thought, uh-oh. So he whipped by her kind of fast because he was just patrolling down an interstate, or not an interstate, but a state route. It was a state route, and he thought, oh shit, somebody must have broke down. Maybe she needs help. Turned around, he said she wasn't there anymore.
Oh wow, jeez. All right, so Renan says, even though this isn't a legend, when some people die, they talk about seeing God, but then going back to life. How do you feel? Ooh, I wonder how that would be interesting to see if you had like a near death experience and you actually saw God. Would you? That's a good question. Would you be happy to come back to life, or would you be like, oh, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Or would you want to go to everlasting paradise? You know what I mean? That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Does anybody else hear that feedback? I feel like I'm on like a delay echo.
Yeah, here's some feedback.
that my phone? Should I sign off and sign back on?
Yeah, try doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his phone. What's up, Tim? Tim, we're talking about ghost stories. Maybe you could tell us about the ghosts of the makers of PBR. Come on up, Tim. We're doing ghost stories and urban legends. You haven't been up in a while. There we go. It's ghost feedback. They're letting us know that they are alive and well and that they are haunting Chief. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. You know, if I had a near-death experience and I saw God and knew that God existed, and I could go to somewhere where I know I'd be happy all the time, but then to be pulled back to this life, I don't know. I that's really tough. Like, I guess I'd be happy because I'd miss all the people that I left behind. But what about all the people that have already died and you haven't seen in so long? And you don't got to deal with all the negativity that goes along with life, but then you don't get the positivity too. So I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question. That's a really tough question to ask. Welcome back, Chief.
Yeah, I'm still getting that feedback.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's you or me or
no.
what.
It starts when you come on. That's when it's on. So, yeah. See, when you mute it, it's not there anymore. Do you have turn the stream volume down, maybe? That's something I can take. My sister passed and was brought back when she was 16 and never anything one way or the other. Okay. Right? No white light either. So raging is PBR. It's not raging per se. It's an urban legend that PBR is actually real beer. Absolutely true, Sean. It is an urban legend. All right. Yep. What's up, Chief?
Yeah,
Tim, what's up, man? What's up, Tim? Tim?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
No sound, Tim.
Can you hear me?
What's up, Tim? Yep, sure can.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Chief, do you have other tabs open? That might be causing it.
Well, I don't have it anymore. It went away. I re-signed in, and I don't hear it now.
Oh, okay, cool. That works for me. Good. All right, so Tim, what about you? Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh yeah.
You do. Have you had any personal experience? Have you had any personal experiences with ghosts?
Well, in the place that I live, there are spirits here. They're not like malicious or anything like that.
Like what type of stuff do they do? They steal your PBR?
Leave them alone.
They do it to themselves. If they would stop selling it, I would stop making fun of them. It's real easy. Watch. PBR's gonna come and say, you know what? We want to sponsor you. No.
Like that time on South Park when Cartman was sponsored by Vagisil.
Yeah. Right?
Oh God.
You'd be like, I know I talked all that crap about PBR before, but now they're paying me, so now I say good things about them. I love you, PBR.
Actually, I'm going to be wearing PBR shirts and videos from now on, like Josh with Puma. Truth be told, in all fairness and what do you call transparency, Josh and I do share the same agent, so.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I got that shirt deal.
Absolutely. Ray Parker Jr. taught us to not be afraid of ghosts. Absolutely. My grandma died and was brought back. She said the best way to describe what she saw was it's like your favorite memory forever. Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. And no, I'm not that old. Thank you very much. And yes, we are talking about Pabst Blue Ribbon. Thank you. Yeah, Sean's old, but I'm not old. You guys are gonna love next week. Next week we're gonna do an all 80s show, so that's gonna be a lot of fun.
And all
And
what?
Tim promised us he's gonna get in his best. He's gonna go get in. He's gonna go make his hair up like Flock of Eagles. Isn't that right, Tim? Flock of Seagulls. I'm sorry.
If I had the hair to do it,
You know the funny thing about that, the lead singer of Flock of Seagulls, if you see him today, he's bald as can be.
Oh wow.
so maybe I can do like the what do you call it when the reunited Flock of Seagulls haircut.
Oh, there
The
we
one
go.
where, the one that just shocks the fans and says, "What the hell happened to him?"
So, tell us some of your favorite. Tell us at least one of your favorite ghost stories, Tim.
Oh, I've always loved ghost stories, and I actually have like so many books, just on like ghost stories and legends. Not so much urban legends, but like the ghost of the Queen in England.
Mhm.
She supposedly haunts the place because she had her head chopped off by the king and everything. And
Was talking about that Anne Boleyn. That's one I brought up. Anne Boleyn's ghost.
yes,
Yep.
I've always been fascinated with those stories. Honestly, the one ghost story slash legend that I've always it stuck with me ever since I was a kid. And I'm 50 now, so I mean, it's amazing, some of the things you actually retain. But the one story I remember is I think it was like at what do you call it? Like an archdiocese office, like in England. England really does have the best ghost stories, don't they?
It really seems that way. It's like they just have kind of like an air of sophistication to them that the American ghost stories just lack.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's correct. You hear a lot more ghost stories and folklore coming out of the UK than really any other. But then again, you got a lot of ghost stories coming out of France. Like both England and France, they have a lot of old stories of ghosts because like all those buildings have been around for so long that they say that those people still wander those halls, and maybe they're real, but maybe they're just in another dimension and we can't see them. Somebody might be standing right next to you, you can't see them because you're just not seeing in that dimension. I think that might have a detail to do with it.
And also just that they have such a richer history than we do here in the States. I mean, the States is only so old, and you got UK, and they have civilization that goes way, 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 way back. And let's not forget that a lot of people that did come and found the U.S. were let's be honest, a lot of them were kind of prudish when they first got here. Oh, someone turned that off there.
oh shit.
I think that might have a detail to do with it.
And also, there we go.
There we go.
Thanks.
They have such a richer history than we do here.
Oh, turn off the turn down the volume. Yeah, a
Turn down
much
the volume?
longer violent hit. Well, just because I can hear myself talking in the background.
In the States, I mean, the States is only so old, and you got UK, and they have.
Turn down the volume on the stream, Tim.
Is this better?
I don't hear myself anymore, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I did wrong. Hold on. Oh shit. Sorry, buddy.
All right. So anyway, go ahead. Tell us the story.
The spirits in the house, dude, not me. I
All right.
swear.
Tell us a ghost story. What you got?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, continuing on with that one story, I'm trying to think, but I believe it took place like at a or a rectory. It was a rectory, and like whoever was the head honcho, what do they call monsignors and stuff?
Mhm.
But anyway,
It's Monsignor or Cardinal or Bishop. Bishop and a Cardinal are kind of the same thing.
potato, right? But for some reason, he would sleep, like not sleep, but he would sit down by the fireplace, which is by the front door in the rectory. This is back in olden times, and there would be knocks at the door at the same time.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to remember if I might be misremembering this, as Roger Clemens would say. Um, Nobody remembers that?
No.
Roger
There you-
Clemens during the steroid hearings?
I remember Roger Clemens, but I don't remember. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the steroid hearings.
Well, anyway, yeah, and so apparently, he would answer the door and he'd always find a shoe, a child's shoe. And this went on for several nights, I guess, the same time, and for some reason, long story short, because I don't actually remember how they actually got to this place, but they had found that there was the body of a child in the wall, and it was missing his shoe.
Oh wow. Jeez.
Creepy, huh?
Now, yeah, that is.
If I hadn't heard about the child in the wall, I would have just assumed that there's some crazy dog stealing shoes around the neighborhood.
Right?
But stuff like that I love, Oh.
Hey, what's up, Stuck?
Here's a good question. The Amityville house, the house in Amity, New York. What do you think about that? Do you think that's really haunted, or you think that was just a bunch of hype?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it might have been haunted.
Yeah, that was where they had that really brutal murder. The teenager killed the whole family, and that actually happened in that house. Yeah, that is a verifiable thing.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that. Many years ago, I was trying to put together a book on Amityville, and really the only key player that I was able to get in touch with was William Weber, who was Ronald DeFeo's attorney. Now, we all know who Ronald DeFeo is, right?
Mhm.
Right. And so, I was telling him about my intentions of the book, and, actually, I had made arrangements, with a friend of mine. He would go, I was in college at the time, and he would come with me, and we would actually stay at the house because, back then, we didn't have the internet and everything, so it's like we didn't realize that the house has been happily occupied since 1979, by
Wow.
different families, and but talking to William Weber, and he was Ronnie DeFeo's attorney and everything, and he told me, and this is William Weber, this is Ronnie DeFeo's attorney, okay, he actually said to me, all that stuff about ghosts, it's all bullshit. I'll never forget that.
Wow.
And he's passed away now, but Ronnie DeFeo is still in prison. Huh?
Yeah. Thank God, right?
Yeah. Didn't he get several life sentences?
Yeah, I didn't he get one for each of the family members, I think?
Yeah, I think he's serving multiple life sentences, so he's never going to see the light of day again.
That's
Now
a
the
good
other
thing.
thing, the other thing too that Weber had told me, and I don't know if this violates like client attorney, whatever, but he's dead, so I don't think he cares. But he actually had mentioned to me about oh about he said Ronnie. He said you got to know Ronnie is a pathological liar. His
Oh wow.
story has never been the same. And that was back. I spoke to him. I think back in '91. I think it was. And I know he William Weber actually passed away. I guess a couple of years ago. I believe. It actually caught my eye because I remember that conversation I had with him.
Oh wow.
And as far as the whole, what do you call it? The people who moved in after.
There's still people living there, aren't there? Or did they tear it down finally?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's people living there for years. No problems.
Yeah, it sold not too long ago, like 3-4 years ago, for like almost $1 million. It was pretty expensive.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, and nobody has reported any problems.
Even with that history, it sold for almost $1 million. Now that's crazy.
Well, the house itself is beautiful. I mean, it I don't think it looks sinister for it. I think it looks cool. I don't know what kind of architecture they call that, but I always thought it looked nice.
Well, true. I mean, I understand what you're saying. But think about it. With H.H. Holmes and his murder house, they tore that bitch down after he did what he did, and that was a beautiful house too back then.
Yeah,
that's a different story, I think. That's the house in Amityville. For everything everybody says about it, it's just plainly a beautifully built house. It's not like a chamber like H.H. Holmes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, just that was that whole thing was just sinister. And yeah, I do hear about ghosts from there. And my question is, why don't any of the ghosts of any of Jack the Ripper's victims try and get why try and help him get caught? You know what I mean? Or did they? And maybe they failed. Because didn't they got psychics to try and help them solve that case? From what I understand, too, they were trying everything they could to solve that case.
Which case are we talking about?
Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Oh, okay. Oof.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if either of you have ever been to the UK, but they have in London. They have a hell of a wax museum called Madame Tussauds, and down in in one of the larger areas, they got a whole recreation of Jack the Ripper, like 3 Jack the Ripper scenes that they had recreated out of the documents.
Oh wow, I haven't seen that. I want to now though that I heard about it. So I'm a huge Ripper. I wouldn't say fan, but just the whole thing interesting.
Well, they caught.
Hey, I'm a Manson fan.
Yeah, they caught.
Marilyn Manson.
Oh God. Yeah, they kind of thought that he had surgical skills because of the incisions and cuts that he made and how they made, that kind of profiled what doctors did back then when doctors didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, could you imagine if something like that happened nowadays? Then I don't think he wouldn't be able to get away with it now the way he did it. Especially with all the cameras everywhere, someone would have saw something.
Absolutely, and not only that, but forensic technology has come along through the generations of. I mean, it is very, very hard to get away with a capital crime these days, and I'm really glad about that because, I mean, take the 80s. You were saying the 80s. We're gonna have a show in the 80s next week. Back in the 80s, medical technology and forensic technology was really just in its infancy of what it is today. They were just experimenting with DNA. They were very, very aggressive on digitalizing fingerprints, so you didn't have to do the 3 cards every time you arrested somebody. And yeah, just that technology alone has improved so much. It's very hard to get away with a capital crime. I got a question for both of you. What's the most scariest horror movie you've ever seen?
Oh, that would have to depend on my age, honestly. When I was a kid, it would have to be Puppet Master. Now I don't think there's that many scary movies anymore. They just don't do horror as good as they're not that great. I love them, but they're not scary so much anymore.
I always thought the original Exorcist, the very first one with Linda Blair and Max von Sydow, I thought that was probably the most times I ever watched that movie, the hair on the back of my neck stood up.
Oh wow.
Wow.
The ones that are really trippy for me are the paranormal.
In the same vein, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, you sure? Okay. In the same vein as Chief, I got to think, and anytime I want to, just have a good scare, for some reason I always fall back on Exorcist 3 with George C. Scott.
It's a good one.
Was Linda Blair in number 3?
No, she wasn't. But Lieutenant Kinderman and Father Dwyer, were both in it. They weren't played by the same guys. It was George C. Scott and Ed Flanders, respectively. So those are like really the only two carryover people.
I'll tell you the scariest, Kenny, you were talking about age, and I'll tell you what, when I saw the original Alien in 1979, I crapped my pants.
Oh, wow. All right, Noli, have a good one.
Back then, we, guys like, Chief and me, I was the same age, Chief. So it's like back then, like, all we dealt with, had ever had to deal with, like, as far as special effects, were like cheesy Irwin Allen special effects in Lost in Space.
Now, were you guys, did you guys ever go camping and tell ghost stories when you guys were kids?
Yes, I did in the Boy Scouts.
Oh, what kind of story? Like what is one that you remember vividly from your childhood, a ghost story?
Well, I remember we were on Catalina Island off the California coast, and we were camping at a Boy Scout reservation called Emerald Bay, and we got a big fire going, and one of the scoutmasters told us a story about a guy who disappeared in a boat off of Catalina Island in the fog, and I guess the story was that he crashed on the rocks, and the ghost of him never gave up that island. He roams the island, and I can't do justice to the story he told us, but the gist of it got us kind of going. So when we went back to the tents that evening, everybody was kind of looking over their shoulder.
Oh, wow. Now, everybody that's just joining us, we're talking about ghost stories and urban legends. If you would like to share a ghost story or urban legend from either a personal experience or one that you've heard, maybe when you were a kid or even just last week or whatever, there's a link right there. You're more than welcome to come on up and tell us a story. We haven't heard anyone talk too much about urban legends, but let's talk a little bit about urban legends. Now, do you guys believe in urban legends? See, here's my thing about urban legends. I do believe that there is a grain of truth to most of them. They usually get exaggerated, but usually they start with some grain of truth.
Like Krampus.
Now, what was a grain of truth there?
Well, I could see what he was thinking.
Okay.
Maybe I'm talking too much. I don't know. No, he was not a military experiment. Honest.
For me, the original Night of the Living Dead, watched that with parents' permission one winter night, and a stupid deer crossed the river and stood outside the window looking at me. That would be scary because they have those like blank ass eyes.
Yeah, they kind of act like Robert De Niro. What you looking at? You looking at me?
Yep. Yeah.
That must have been a traumatic experience, Cheryl. I'm so sorry.
I'll just before I came on, I was looking at I don't know, I was looking at ghost stories, and then one popped up about a cat, and I'm like, there's this guy set up a camera in his room, and at night the cat would come on his chest and just stare at him for hours, just fucking stare at him. I was like, that's some creepy shit. I mean, I know cats are weird anyway and creepy, but that's extra creepy, don't you think?
Yeah, it's,
Even for
you
a
know,
cat.
the entire feline empire is going to take over the world someday. I mean, they're all little ninjas, man.
Hey, they really are. That's absolutely
And Chief, you probably remember this. What do you call it? Tall tale or whatever like that. You know, if you had a baby, you shouldn't have a cat around because the cat will sneak into the baby's crib and sit on its face and smother it. You
Yeah,
remember
they
that, Chief?
steal its breath. Steal its breath. Cats steal baby's breath. That's
Yes.
what the yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've heard that, and that is an old folklore. That is an
Yep.
old folklore story. Yeah, absolutely. And but here's let's talk about like one of the two biggest urban legends. How about Sasquatch and the Loch Ness Monster? Now, if you go over to Scotland and you go over there and say, "Hey, there ain't nothing in that lake," they'll look at you and go, "Full of shit, dude. There is like
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the world, you got Alaska. If you go to Alaska and you just walk up to average people and say, "Hey, have you ever seen Sasquatch?" I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people up in Alaska say, "Yes, I saw one," and nobody believes me, and I don't give a shit. I saw one, and that's not just one or two crackpots. I mean, there are really, literally, a lot of people up in that Pacific Northwest region that say they've seen something.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Sharon says, have any of you heard of the Black Dog legend? They made a movie about it in 1998. It's a very real to us long haul truck drivers and very scary. Have any of you guys heard about this?
No, not me.
All right, I looked it
Tell
up.
me more. Tell me more.
I'm gonna read it.
Oh,
All right, so here we go. Where is it? All right, everyone on the road has heard the legend of the Black Dog. The Black Dog supposedly comes when a truck driver has been driving too long and starts to fall asleep at the wheel. He or she will see the ghoul running toward the truck just before the crash. The apparition causes the driver to steer off the road or into traffic and results in an accident that kills the truck driver or an innocent person. The origins of the Black Dog are difficult to pin down, though in various pieces of European mythology, dogs have been associated with death. Their scavenging habits may attribute to these beliefs, as well as the fact that black dogs are seen almost universally as malevolent. Whatever. It's possible the Black Dog legend is a throwback to a belief held by couriers of freight as far back as Egyptian times. Ooh, that's interesting. So a black dog shows up on the road and causes them to have an accident.
you know
If I'm not mistaken, there's also I don't know if it's an urban legend or actually a ghost story, but I saw a show on satellite TV probably about 5-6 years ago, and they were talking about people who have like supernatural stories. And there's this one highway, and I think it's in Utah, if I'm not mistaken. They call it Haunted Highway. And, they said that multiple people who drive down that road see and experience all kinds of weird thing. There was a story, and I'm glad you brought this up because I just remembered the story. There was a guy in a parking lot that just came out of his work, and the parking lot was surrounded a small strip mall. And this guy got in his car and he's driving through the parking lot, getting onto the main road. Just before he gets to the main road, there are two like teenage boys in hoodies standing there looking at him. So he stops, rolls down his window, and says, "What are you guys doing? Are you guys in trouble?" And they just kind of looked at him, and he said that one of them approached the car, and he didn't see his eyes. He said he had black eyes, like almost like a shark, just like. Yeah, like just something just totally just not normal. And the other kid came up and he said, "Hey, mister, let us in." And he's like, no, I gotta get going. And the one kid says, well, look, mister, we can't come in unless you invite us.
Yeah,
And
I know what you're talking about. It's an urban legend. They're called black-eyed children.
yeah,
what they're
and
called.
he
Yeah,
drove away. He drove away because he got freaked out. He looked back in the mirror and they were gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
wow.
supposedly, these are happening all over the place. Yeah, this is crazy. They have to ask to come in. They can't come in uninvited. Let's see, it says right here, history. It says, where is it? There's actually a movie in 2012 called Black Eyed Kids. Yeah, it's
I remember seeing that. Yeah, I remember seeing that, and it really it piqued my curiosity. It really did.
Yeah, if you guys really want to know more about that and just all kinds of different stuff, you guys should check out Creepypasta. Great site, all kinds of urban legends, ghost stories, crazy stuff. They talk about damn near everything. There's a lot of black-eyed children stories in there. A lot of them.
That's creepy.
Yeah, and few spots on Route 66. Oh yeah, man, I'm telling you, that's just. What about the Men in Black? I know you guys heard about the Men in Black stories, right? The real Men in Black, not Will Smith. The real Men in Black.
You know, with technology around the country, that whole faction of a group could exist without anybody really knowing it. You know.
No, agree, but these are more like supernatural Men in Black. Like they're supposedly video of them being caught on tape, and they're like really. Some of them are described as featureless and just really weird. You guys should look into it. It's some crazy stuff. I mean, I believe that. Excuse me. There is some government organization that's keeping tabs on that type of stuff, but the stories that I'm talking about are more supernatural in nature than government conspiracy type thing.
Is that what is that? The internet guy? What is his name? Slender Man? Is that part of that whole thing?
Yep, he started out in Creepypasta, Slender Man. Yep.
I'm gonna have to check this stuff out.
Oh, you never heard of the Slender Man before, Tim?
No.
Oh my God, you are old.
Oh.
Wait a minute!
And guess what?
I'm older than him. I'm 52.
Yeah, but you don't drink PBR all the time. His stunning because of PBR. Sorry, Tim.
No. It's 5:18, and I'll have I open the first PBR at 5:14 because after 5 o'clock, all gloves are off.
Remember the saying, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Hate it, love it. That's the old commercial, man. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Hate it to love it to hate it.
Absolutely. Man, yeah, Creepypasta. In fact, that's how I'm going to go. I'm going to look on Creepypasta and come up with some other good urban legends. Creepypasta. There's all kinds of crazy stuff on this website.
And actually, what happened to Chief?
He'll probably be back. See, Cheryl's heard of it too. So Tim, you're like one of the only people that I haven't heard of. All right, let's take a poll. Who on this chat has heard of the Slender Man? Is anybody going to join Tim and not know who the Slender Man is? And if they have, are they going to admit it?
Oh God, you relish embarrassing me, don't you, Kenny? Between the PBRs and now this,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, if I was in your shoes, I'd be dumping on me too.
It's all done in love, man. It's all done with love.
Exactly. I can deal with it.
All right, here we go. I have who's Kenny. Okay, Sweck doesn't know who I am. Fair enough.
But hey, they must know who I am because I have over 1 million views.
Right. Cisco Kid has heard of him. Cheryl's heard. She's 61, so she's older than you, and she's still heard of it. But she probably also doesn't drink PBR, so that's probably what it is again.
Wow.
They even have a video game about the Slender Man.
Jeez.
Maybe I'm the Slender Man. Stuck. Did you check out the Canadian Auditor video? I did a Canadian Auditor because I knew you were asking about one before, and I finally did one. You didn't comment on it, so I'm not sure if you even saw it or not. Do you even watch the videos anymore, Stuck, or you just come on the live panels? Yeah, we're talking about urban legends and ghost stories. If anybody wants to come on and share one, an urban legend or a ghost story, whatever, come on up. Let's see.
Kenny. Another one of my favorites, and it's actually been on Unsolved Mysteries. Remember that show?
Yes, I do. Great one.
Yeah, especially the Robert Stack versions. Oh, there was nobody better for that role than him.
He was an expert. He was. He made that show, like, he gave it a little bit of drama kick,
Oh, he was fantastic. But the story basically was, about, this little, town, and, I think they call her the girl in white, but she'd be on the side of the road, and, somebody would pick her up and, offer to bring her home and stuff like that. And then, drop her off at the house, but the house was right across from the cemetery, and turns out like she died on her prom night or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Maybe
Texas Bartender, Slender Man, those two teenage girls, and they're barely teenagers too. Wasn't one of them like 12 or something like that? That took they actually claimed that the Slender Man told them to kill their friend.
No.
And they're both not, kid you not.
Yeah, I remember that case. And they're serving their time in junior DOC till when they turn 21. Then they're going to graduate to the women's penitentiary.
Yeah, they're right on par with the I Hate Monday killer chick girl, right on par with them.
Sounds almost like Son of Sam too.
Well, yeah, but I think they're just using it. Either they're crazy or they're just using it to, hey, the Slender Man, maybe I can get away with it because I'm crazy.
And just like what's his name, in New York, he's probably like, I'll just blame it on a dog.
See, the thing is, he didn't realize the dog lovers. He should have blamed them on cats. Everyone knows cats.
Well, even his own defense team said that they botched that part of the defense. I'm kidding. No, they didn't say that.
I think, to be fair, when that case came up, the prosecutor, the judge, the jury, they had never seen a trial like that. So that was like really mainstream. Like, we didn't have social media back then, but that was just like all over the papers and news services.
Oh yeah, all the major networks, all the major network news programs. I remember, Chief. And is that Stuck?
What's up, Stuck?
Stuck's not saying anything.
Hey, Mr. Kenny, and yes, I do watch your damn videos. I just don't.
What'd you think of the Canadian auditor? I finally found one for you.
Oh, he's out. Freaking idiot.
Yeah, wasn't he? He was, wasn't he?
I mean, he took it. I'm sure he took a script from one of the other frauders out there, and then he screwed up the what's your name and badge number.
Oh, I know. I couldn't believe that. Like, what's your badge and name number? Like, really?
Name number, no.
I think he sounded. I think he sounds French. He came across. That was the Ottawa police, right? That was in Ottawa.
Yeah, that was in Ottawa. Yeah,
he came across the river from Quebec. Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, I mean, it's just embarrassing. That's about it. But it was good. I mean, I don't know where you found that one, but
there's a few that, and that was one of the more tamer ones of his. He has a few videos out.
He does, eh?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch. It's embarrassing. And I mean, if you're gonna,
I enjoy watching like the videos from the UK and stuff like that. Because I'm not really familiar with like their laws and stuff, but it seems like their cops are just like, okay, you're coming with us.
I mean, our cops handled that very well. That whole situation, they did really good. They didn't even give them really any time of day, honestly.
No, yeah, they handled it quite well. All right, so it's Stuck. What about you? Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes, I do.
You do. Have you seen any?
Yes, I have experienced a few things.
Yes.
Well, tell us some stuff.
Oh, where do I start?
At the beginning. It's usually a good spot.
Okay. When my mommy and daddy got together,
I actually skipped right to the birth when I said first there was darkness, and
Okay, there's up here. There's one. There was a legend and a story about a girl who was, I think she was 12 or 13, I think, and her name was Selena, and she got killed in a car accident outside of the city here. And what they did is they put a grave marker right beside her, like right at that spot, eh? And the story goes, if you can find it, because it was hard to find in the summertime because of the overgrown weeds and stuff. But my ex at the time, my girlfriend at the time, but now my ex, but we went looking for this, and we found Selena. Now, if you stand there and you talk to Selena, she will actually make her presence known. And what it is through the whole thing about orbs, you know, the right. And I actually have photos somewhere buried away of those orbs, of her making her presence at this grave marker.
Oh wow.
Okay, and that was one story. And then another one is there's a well-known bridge. If you go and park under the bridge and stay quiet, you will hear movement around underneath the bridge, eh? Okay? Like walking and whatnot. And if you're lucky, you get the particular ghost or entity coming up to your car and knocking on your car.
Oh,
so
boy.
now I was the only guy in the car. There was 6 ladies in the car with me, 2 of them teenagers, and we went and parked. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Cars off. We got the windows half down, and we start hearing the crunching of the gravel nearby. And then at the very back of the car, we heard, and then on the side of the car again, and then the next time it was right on the front of the car. It went right to the front, and this is all within about like 5 seconds. So like, there's no way there was somebody there. Okay, and you go, and they went on the hood of the car. There was nothing there, and then everybody was screaming. They're yelling at me to get the car started and get the fuck out of there. And so I did. But it freaked everybody out. Even me, I was actually a little bit freaked as well because there was nothing in front of us. You turn the headlights on, there's nothing there.
it was probably a ghost cop.
I don't know.
Wow.
You know, like roll up your window, roll down your window, sir. Go. I don't know.
It was quite the experience.
I'd be telling him, buzz off, man. I'm traveling, not driving.
Yeah, tell that to the ghost. No,
Leave
but
it with Steve.
And there was another one where there was in that same relative area, there was a house, an old dilapidated house, which has since been torn down. That was extremely haunted as well. Like if you go in there, you will see things moving, and
Oh wow.
noises. And we went in there. We trespassed on private property, but
How dare you?
right no way, terrible. But that's one of many experiences that we did. And another night we were at her cousin's house, and I set up my MP3 recording to record the night, and there was a lot of strange noises overnight, eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I did the same thing with my house because I live like in a 4-family basically, but it's like basically like kind of like 2 duplexes together. I don't know. But anyway, the upstairs was vacant, and the landlord asked if I could, do some, minor paint jobs and stuff like that. And I was hearing stuff. And so I actually put an MP3 recorder, I actually went out and bought one, and I put it, right at the bottom of the stairs. And wouldn't you know, the next morning I heard talking.
And it wasn't the people anywhere else than living in the house, right?
Nobody in the apartment, or and actually the other apartment too. There was nobody there either. Yeah, so I mean, it was just like really weird. So I mean, but let me ask you.
The kind of stuff that gets the hair on your back of your neck going straight out. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. But let me ask you, Stuck. It seems like you've had like many different random encounters. Do you
the
consider yourself like what do you call it? Sensitive?
no. I go to. I used to. I haven't done so in a few years anyway. But I used to go to different cemeteries at night as well. And you
Really?
see things. You can see things if you're patient and you're quiet and you do it right. Yeah.
Do it right. How would you look at a cemetery wrong though?
Well, if you're going in there making noise and making jokes and everything else,
I got you.
you
I
got to
got
be
you.
at least serious when you go in there.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
like with me, I would have my camera going and I would take random pictures all over the place as well.
Okay.
And,
Cool.
Anything?
yeah, I got a couple things. I just have to find that old hard disk if I can ever find it.
Ooh.
That would make
You gotta send them to Kenny.
Yeah. Next time we do a show.
I'm still looking for a bunch of old photos on one of my drives that I can't find. So, I mean, but again, this is stuff that'll make you wonder and question things. I think.
All right, so the next one I want to talk about is this one's in California. There's a bunch of horrors that happen at Turnbull Canyon, which is located near LA between Whittier and City of Industry, Turnbull. All right, so what happened basically is the natives called it Hutakunga, or the place of the devil, where the ghosts of those slain for not converting to Christianity dwell alongside witches and Satanists, who reportedly used the place to sacrifice children whose spirits now walk the canyon and dangle from trees. They're joined by the ghosts of 21 kids who perished in a plane crash back in 52. Allegedly, as there's no existing record of it. Then there's remains of the old insane asylum that came back to life to kill a teen in the 60s via a long dormant electrical wire. There are cults, alien encounters, gravity hills. It goes on and on. Basically, if it's something that gets under your skin, there's a story about it happening in this seemingly cursed canyon.
Mm-hmm.
That is just trip.
But you've got to take some of this with a grain of salt as well.
Oh yeah,
a lot of it comes down from generation to generation. A lot of it's word of mouth. So stories can it's people will change it and embellish it. So you have to dig through the the historical timeline of it to understand. Yes, there might be something there.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But most urban legends, they all have a grain of truth. But most of them, they're like you're saying, they're embellished because it's like when you were a kid when you played the telephone. It never is the same by the time it gets to the last person.
Yeah, I love that game. That was great. Yeah.
Well, speaking about California, if you just look at the West Hollywood Hills, or not, Southwest Hollywood Hills, where the Hollywood sign is, a couple of people, especially a number of women, committed suicide off that sign. And the LAPD, they don't let people go up there anymore. There's an LAPD car parked up there all the time to chase people away. But they've said that they've seen people that were not supposed to be there, and when they walked down, they couldn't find them. And so they thought that, there might be some spiritual activity around that sign because so many women jumped off the damn thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember hearing about that. There's all kinds of different urban legends out there, and someone brought up skinwalkers. Those are now where they usually have like
Slenderman. And this is another thing I have not heard of.
Well, it's like a lot of Native American folklore, deals with a great deal of spiritual activity. The Native Americans, they were very, very spiritual.
Yeah, absolutely. And the skinwalkers are basically, they're like humans that take on like either like a wolf or a bear form. Basically, it's where the Native Americans equivalent to werewolves or werebears, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, they used to call them shapeshifters.
Yes, that's what they are. But they only can go into the form of a wolf or a bear. That, yeah.
Wow. I got to get out more, obviously.
Yeah, put down the PBR and actually, start doing something, huh?
Again.
Or just put down the PBR.
It's
Just put down the
dagger
PBR in
every
general.
time. Huh?
Just put down
On
the
the
PBR,
PBR
in
general?
general. Go with something
Oh,
else.
in general.
Yeah, just go with something else.
Okay, gonna drink Schlitz. Yay.
There you go.
Keep it
Yeah,
as
this is
well.
all kind of. Now, what about some? We have some UK people here. We have some Canadian people here. What are some Canadian urban legends? Stuck? Can you think of any
I don't
Canadian
know.
urban legends?
Offhand, no, I don't know of any.
Okay, what about anybody in the UK? What about some UK
Winchester House.
urban legends? Any UK people want to tell us any UK urban legends that we should know about?
Somebody mentioned the Winchester Mystery House.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
I saw Constitution Law is Truth mentioned it.
I've never heard of this. I'm gonna say.
Oh, there you go. You highlighted
Yeah,
it.
no,
You ever heard the story of the Winchester House?
No, I haven't.
Okay, let me fill you in. This woman and her husband out in California. I think it's in Salinas. I'm not quite sure. But this woman and her husband, this was a long time ago, they decided to buy and build a house together on this certain land that they built. And her husband passed away abruptly. She was very upset. And she started taking on this theory that his ghost was telling her that as long as you keep building on this house, you will live. And she was so convinced of it that she had construction workers build all kinds of hallways and chambers and staircases and balconies that led nowhere, absolutely nowhere. If you go in there and you actually open up a door, if you open up a door, there's nothing there except a wall. And this lady lived for years and years and years thinking that this was true. And when she finally passed away, it became like a museum. But yeah, that's the whole surrounding story of the Winchester Mystery House.
Right.
Have you seen the movie with Helen Mirren?
No, I haven't.
Chief?
And there's another kind of urban legend of a house in California. I think it's up by San Francisco called Rose Red. You ever hear of that, Kenny?
No.
I think Rose Red was actually a Stephen King movie, wasn't it, Tim?
I'm thinking Ruby Red.
Is that like a soda?
It was called Rose Red. No, it's just look it up on
Rose Red.
Wikipedia.
Okay, yeah.
Just put Rose Red in Wikipedia, and it'll come up with the house.
Yeah, so her husband invented the Winchester rifle, Sharon Moore is saying.
Huh.
Yeah, that's correct. He was the owner of the Winchester Firearms Company. Yeah.
That's a good point, Texas bartender.
He actually invented the Winchester rifle. I mean, he basically inherited all the fortunes from his grandparents inventing it.
Well, yeah, because the Winchester's been around for hundreds of years. I mean, it's still,
Exactly.
I would still say it's one of the best designed rifles ever made.
Yeah. All right, here we go. How about we're going to talk about, I'm going to give everyone's idea on this one, okay? We're going to do urban legend death match. Who would win in a fight? Bigfoot or the Jersey Devil? What do you guys think? Bigfoot or the Jersey Devil?
Okay, let's add that to Slender Man and the.
No. Who
There's another thing I don't know about.
Who would win in a fight? Jersey? You never heard of the Jersey Devil?
Yes. I admit it. I have never heard of the Jersey Devil. Okay, the only Jersey Devil I know is Marty Brodeur.
You need to get out more.
He needs to
All right.
go. He needs to go to the local. He needs to go to the local DVD store and rent some movies.
Yeah.
Right? Well, what about you, Chief? Bigfoot or the Jersey Devil? What do you think?
I would say Bigfoot, hands down. If I was a betting man, I would say Bigfoot, because if you think of a 7-foot something, almost 8-foot something creature, 400, 450 pounds, yeah, that thing will clobber you.
I think Cheryl here has it right. Oh my God, Tim, read a book.
You have heard of books, right, Tim?
I feel like a cop being confronted by Josh.
Oh my God. So it said Napoleon Central shot the Jersey Devil through the stomach, and it just laughed at him and flew away. Now, I wonder what kind of laugh the Jersey Devil has. Is it kind of like the Nelson laugh, you know, or is it like Cartman, or you know? So I'm wondering what kind of laugh it has. That's a good question. Well, so I think Bigfoot would take the Jersey Devil too. I do.
Yeah. No.
You can't go wrong with the devil. I'm sorry, guys.
Bigfoot, hands down.
Yeah, I think Bigfoot would take him. All right, what about?
We know the Jersey Devil. It doesn't
Hey,
exist, and we know that.
Does anybody remember the legend of Boggy Creek, the foul
Yes.
cluster? You remember
Yes.
that down in the bayou?
Yep, I remember that one. I do remember that one. It laughs evil, apparently. Apparently so, like something like that.
But wouldn't it be cute if we had a cute
That
laugh?
sounded like the witch. That sounded like the Wicked Witch of the West.
No. See, no. My Wicked Witch of the West is. That was a little different. See, a little different.
I don't know what that was. If I was like an evil spirit, like, you know, the Slender Man and the Slipper Man that you talk about, okay, you know what? I would defy expectations. I wouldn't do an evil laugh. I'll do a cute laugh, like.
Oh God! Don't do that again. Don't do that again.
Well, you know what? If you got to consider a fight between the Jersey Devil and Bigfoot, how the hell are they do with that? How are they going to do that with masks on and 6 feet away from each other?
Yeah, you know.
Good point.
I'm gonna be honest. When you're creatures of that kind of magnitude, I don't think you're really worried about social distancing. You know. All right. What about? Let's see. Let's go with another one. We'll go with the Loch Ness Monster or Godzilla.
Oh, Godzilla.
You think so?
Godzilla
all the way.
Think so? Okay.
Nessie is a peaceful little creature that deserves to be left alone. Godzilla is just badass, bitch.
Mothra is a lot more badass. Mothra kicked Godzilla's ass.
Oh, well, okay. Now you're getting personal, Kenny.
He did. Just saying.
I guess, isn't Mothra in the new Godzilla movie?
I think so.
I hope so.
Well, Cheryl agrees. She thinks Godzilla would win. Everyone else is kind of laughing, saying, "Oh, what is this?" Oh, there we go. Here's Godzilla. King Kong. Yeah, well, he'd come in. He'd swing in from the side and just kick both their asses, huh? Yeah, agreed. Mothra was the best.
I remember Gamera.
I remember Gamera.
And it was always funny because, like, we would see the movies with the overdubs.
Gamera was the big turtle, right?
Gamera.
It was the big turtle, right? What was the monster with the 3 heads? Guillotine or something like that?
Oh.
Remember Guillotine, the monster with the 3 heads?
Oh yeah? Well, I'll tell you what. The Power Rangers will take out freaking Godzilla all day, every day, because they got a sword.
Oh, please.
I gotta admit, though, I was a Godzilla fan. I was a Godzilla fan when the little Japanese guy was still wearing the rubber suit.
Oh yeah. see, that's the main reason I don't find Alien funny. I mean, scary, because after you watch it now, you can tell it's just a dude wearing an alien costume. It's so. I mean, yeah, I agree. It was done in the 70s. I get it, but that's why it's not scary to me because it just doesn't look realistic. The original Alien movie. No, Alien was
compared
awesome.
to what we have now,
Yeah,
nothing was suitable.
Yeah, special effects have really improved. You know, like
They
I mean,
really
if
have.
you watch when I watched the original Jaws in 1976, that made everybody crap their pants in the theater. But now you
Yeah.
look at that movie and you're like, "Hey, those teeth are rubber."
Yeah.
And then you hear like all the stories about the problems with the shark during the shooting.
What the hell?
Yeah, if he had shot that shark, that thing would have bellied up and gone down to the bottom in about 3 seconds.
You think so?
Yeah, because if you shoot a shark, it'll die. They have their sensory. They don't have senses like us. Their sensory, elements are all the way down from the nose from the very nose all the way down to their tail. And if you shoot them, even with a small caliber rifle, you'll put the shark down. They just can't recover from that.
Well, if you get attacked by a shark, they tell you to hit it on its nose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the nose is the most sensitive. The nose is their most sensitive spot.
No,
Yeah.
no, you don't. What you do is you reach out and you give the shark a big kiss on the snout.
No, definitely don't.
Say, I love you.
Don't do that.
Don't you rub its
They'll pull you-
blowhole or something?
They'll pull your headless body from the water later.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. What's up, Carl?
Hey guys,
Hey, go!
Hey, go.
I just had to jump on the three-headed monster. It was called Ghidorah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Ghidorah, right, Carl?
Yeah,
There you go.
That's what I thought. I always liked that monster.
furthermore, what is wrong with you? The Jersey Devil can fly.
Yeah. Jersey Devil can fly. But
And-
he's not nearly as powerful. It would only take one shot from Bigfoot to knock him the fuck out.
Oh,
You're talking about the devil. Kyle's right.
see,
Oh,
You know what? It would be great to see this on pay-per-view.
yeah,
Right?
I was,
That'd be a great
I
one.
was the chief.
I'd much rather see that than Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight.
Oh God,
Is that really a done deal? Is that going to happen?
I think it is. I really
Yeah.
do. I'm just
It
not
is.
looking for it. It's 15 years too late.
Yeah, I think he's trying to do the same thing that Muhammad Ali tried to do years and years ago, but I don't think it's going to work.
Here, Cheryl here's some good advice from Cheryl, Tim.
Hey, Ali, I'll let you know that I can read a computer screen and it still hurts just the same.
Now, one of the movies you guys are talking about Jaws. One of the movies that I remember that reminded me of that I was really scared when I was a kid, Orca.
Why were you scared of orca?
Oh, dude, that was a great movie, man. Richard
Yeah.
Harris.
It
Very
was
underrated.
Very. Orca was fantastic. Creepy ass, smart ass fucking whale. What kind of crap is that?
Well,
Look-
he was pissed. He was pissed at him for killing his mate.
I know.
Killing his
I
child.
know.
This whale's like, you just come on out here, buddy. I'm gonna
Right?
smack you down like a bitch.
Yeah. It was that just scared the shit out of me. Especially when you saw that eye just come on, you're looking at those, you're like, this is peaceful. All of a sudden you see this creepy ass eye looking at you in the water.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what?
he was making a photographic memory of the dude. He's like, buddy, I'm gonna slice you, boy.
Right? He
I
wasn't
see
even
you.
playing.
And Richard Harris was awesome. And like you hear like the stories of like Richard Harris and Peter O'Toole and those guys, and how completely nuts they were.
Yeah.
I've yet to hear of any stories of Richard Harris on Orca, but
Actually, that was also one of the first movies that Bo Derek did. She was the girl who had the leg bit off.
Yep.
Yeah, dolphins also kill sharks too. They'll come together as a group and kill sharks. They don't play.
The dolphins, yeah, they run in a pack and then they start ramming it with their noses. So they can drive it away or kill it. Yeah, they've done that before.
Yep.
And actually, if I could go back to a comment that you posted, I think from Cheryl about Dead. No, Constitution. Okay, yeah. I remember the first time I saw Night of the Living Dead, and even though it was in black and white, it was still great. Because what ended up happening was, I didn't see it probably till I was like a teenager. And so but the main thing I got, after seeing it for the first time was, why'd they shoot the black guy at the end? And then I realized it was George Romero's commentary at the time, on civil rights and stuff. And I was just like, and he actually conveyed that to at least me on film. It's like, why'd they shoot the black guy? All the other people in the house were like, dirtbags.
Yeah.
They shoot the only cool guy. Come on.
Not fair.
Actually, Cheryl, didn't they also discover a pot of dolphins that kill anybody that drinks PBR?
Oh,
didn't they? I could have swore they come. Didn't they? I could have swore they definitely found a pot of dolphins that does that sort of thing. So, Tim, if I were you, I wouldn't make any rash trips to the ocean.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I was surfing one time off the coast of Huntington Beach, and I saw a dolphin come right in front of me, scared the shit out of me. I didn't know it was a dolphin. All I saw was a dorsal fin.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is I talked to one of my buddies, and he's like, dude, a shark has a straight fin. It's a straight line. A dolphin dorsal is curved. And that's the difference between mammals and fish.
Yeah, American Werewolf in London was fantastic. That was a good one. I agree with you, South Jersey.
Hey, that's another classic. David Naughton, man.
And the special effects. That was incredible.
Yeah, they did a good job with that.
Oh, wow. So many great movies that are out there that, we haven't even touched upon.
Horror was just like, man, like it really started coming to its own, it started 70s and the 80s, especially with the slasher flicks, really showed up in the 80s. Now you can't find a good slasher flick anymore. They don't make them anymore.
I don't know.
We've lost. See, my favorite, all the good movies of the past were non-CGI, and they were true real-time special effects, and those are my favorites. I like CGI and everything, and it's great, but it doesn't hold the same value to me as a movie. Like, for example, Jaws. That was all done with actual, no CGI. It was perfect. They'll do that today, and they'll put CGI in it, and it makes it more intense or whatever you want to call it, but it's not the same. I don't know.
But it looks.
I agree with Stuck, and I think that the horror movies today are too over special effects, and there's not enough writing. There's not enough substance in the writing.
Bingo.
I think that they should put more animated robots, like robotics, into the horror movies, especially when they're. Of course, it's going to be more expensive, but it'll look more realistic than it can CGI. Don't get me wrong.
Are you talking about Terminator type or what?
I'm talking about like the different Jaws. They use like a robotic shark, right? They didn't use like that sort of thing. Or like in a Puppet Master, they use actual puppets. You know, they weren't animated. They were, you know, they actually used real things. You had a different feel to the movie, and it was more expensive, true, but it had a more realistic feel to it. But then again, think about it. Nowadays, the way CGI's come along, they can make shit look super real. I mean, if you look at video games
Yeah.
nowadays, they look like you're watching a movie. So
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they've come a long way.
You know what my
Yeah,
one
that's why with
argument against
technology-
CGI. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chief.
Oh, I was just saying that's the evolution of technology in the movie industry altogether. I mean, if you look at Star Wars, the original 1977, which I
No
love,
CGI.
Still a classic.
I saw it 53 times back, but that was back when a movie ticket cost $1.50. But yeah, when I saw that movie, I thought this was it, man. This is the best special effects I've seen. And they've always shown that one trench scene where they had the camera go down really fast and into the trench, running on a trench. That was like really, really intricate. They had to work on that set for months just to get it right. And I always thought
that scene would actually like turn my stomach.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, that movie was like
But
so
the,
astounding in 1977. But now you see the new ones that since Disney has taken over the Star Wars franchise, you see the new ones are all like just so CGI. There's not a lot of live actors. Most of the characters are made up by computer, and it doesn't have the same feeling.
yeah, and all the
And
effects
actually, you know, what I was going to say was, you know, my perfect example against like CGI being the end all of, you know, creativity, you know, the best thing that ever happened. All you have to do is watch the Star Wars A New Hope New Edition, Special Edition, where Han shoots Greedo. That's like the
Yeah,
worst
you know what?
example of CGI I have ever seen.
They've actually refilmed that 3 different times. The first version that came out, he shoots Greedo. The second, they shoot at each other, but he hits Greedo. And the third, Greedo shoots, and then Harrison Ford shoots next. And that's always been the scene that always kind of
Greedo shot first.
Yeah, because they didn't want Han Solo to be a complete bad guy.
Yeah. And then Spielberg took it a step further, okay, by removing the guns in E.T.
What?
Now, I haven't heard about that.
I hadn't heard of that.
No, okay, you remember? You guys remember E.T., right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you remember the scene where all the kids are riding their bikes and they're driving down the street, and all of a sudden all the cars pull up in front of them, and like
then they go in the sky, and that's when the little moon scene is. Yeah, I know.
Okay, in the original movie,
there's guns.
all
Yeah,
those cops and everything had guns. Spielberg released a different edition, removing the guns, and it makes it look like they have walkie-talkies. I am not kidding.
that's stupid.
I am not joking. Google it. It's out there. It's an embarrassment.
That
It
is
is.
an embarrassment.
If you make a movie and then you go back and revise it, it doesn't have the same flavor. And I'll give you an example. Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Now is one of the best movies that showed the insanity of Vietnam. And they had a lot of other scenes in the Redux that they released that weren't in the original movie, and it just made the whole thing fall apart like crap.
You think so?
Did you see the Redux? Did you see
Oh
the
yeah. The long version.
Right.
Yeah, where they go onto that French plantation and kind of hang out with the family for a while? You saw that one?
Yeah, it's the one where Brando actually did his speech and just went on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, I don't think the Redux was as good as the first one. But I got a question for the panel. Hey, anybody? I know Carl or Tim. Well, maybe Carl and Tim, but Tim, you and I remember Twilight Zone, Rod Serling.
Wow.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
yeah.
You're talking about the original series?
Yeah.
Yeah, the original series was Rod Serling, man. Those were
Yeah.
great.
They
Man.
were the best.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
And I was actually watching a video about the episode with Billy Mummy, where he played Anthony, the little kid who could wish everybody away.
Yeah, they actually remade that that scenario in the first Twilight Zone movies they made, when John Lithgow plays the guy on the plane that sees the gremlin out on the wing, but nobody believes him.
Right. I didn't like the movie, to be honest with you.
I didn't either. I thought the originals were better because in that original scenario, William Shatner played the mental patient.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
was odd too. He was nuts. And but also too, one of the videos, oh jeez, I forget the name of the website, but it's basically with, like, I guess they're associated with the Academy of Television or whatever you want to call it, or Academy of Movies. But they have all these interviews like on their page, and it goes down through history. And Billy Mummy was talking about that episode, as Anthony. And when they did the first reboot back in the 80s, the producer contacted, I guess, Billy Mummy, who was actually a friend. And, they were able to get Cloris Leachman to do a follow-up. Not a remake, but a follow-up.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I never saw it because, like, this, the show got canceled, I think, after like 6 episodes.
Well, I think the general consensus was that it was a little too shocking to people back when it aired. And funny thing, a side story about Billy Mummy, I think he pronounced it Mummy, but everybody says Mummy.
That's always me.
His three kids are all actors now. They're all working in Hollywood.
And he seems like he came out of Hollywood completely normal.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of Hollywood youth that grew up in that industry that turned out normal. There's a couple that I can cite. Him, let me see, Ron Howard. Ron Howard was in Hollywood for years and years and years. He grew up in Hollywood, and he didn't let it affect him. And there's a couple that I can't really remember off the top of my head. But yeah, when you grow up in Hollywood, there's a big ratio that says, you're going to get into substance abuse, you're going to get into alcohol, or you're going to get into something that, you have to deal with. Because, like, when you're filming a movie or you're filming a TV show, a lot of pressure on those kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And actually, you mentioned Ron Howard, and you mentioning the pressure that they were under. I've seen interviews of Ron Howard where he would actually say how Andy Griffith and the producers would actually just, they would bend over backwards to make sure that he had a normal childhood. They would actually, like, what do you call it? Halt tapings so he could play his Little League games.
Oh, wow.
That would not happen today.
And that's the thing about Hollywood, and it's actually improved over the years. They used to be able to work the kids a lot longer than they do today. They only can work so long. They can only work at a certain time, and they have to have a tutor or a teacher on set or in the area that they can do their lessons with.
Exactly. I'll be right back. Get this here done.
The thing I worry about, with the kids, with the tutors and everything like that, I know in the old days, not the old days, but, in the past anyway, they would actually have classrooms where you had different age kids in the same class. That had to be kind of awkward socially, don't you think, guys?
Yeah, I think so too. I think so.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
I'd be freaked out. I mean, if I was sitting there, I'm learning algebra, and Anson Williams is sitting next to me. That should be a concern for, like, everybody, I think.
And let's not forget Ash, the king of the B movies. If Elvira's the queen, Ash has got to be king of the B movies. Come on, Ash from the Evil Dead. Ash from the Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, but
Ash.
Yeah, okay. I thought you called him a queen. I'm sorry.
King. No, Elvira is queen. He would be king.
Okay.
Also,
Especially
I'm
the-
sorry.
Thank you for
I
clarifying.
I just realized another kid that grew up in Hollywood, and I just remembered him. I'm sorry, but Chris Pine, the
Yeah.
guy who played the new Captain
Robert
Kirk. he
Pine,
grew
his
up in
father
Hollywood.
and Chip.
Robert Pine is his father, and as everybody remembers, Robert Pine was in movies, but his famous role was the sergeant on Chips.
Yeah.
Marissa Haggerty is the daughter of what was her name? That actress that died in the Jane Mansfield. Thank you. She's the daughter of James Mansfield.
All right.
Trust me, if there's a Hollywood celebrity who's ever posed nude, I can probably tell you their name.
Yeah, yes, Salter. I remember Rana from USA Up All Night. God damn, I remember that. I stay up all night. I definitely remember her.
Who knows?
And doesn't she have like some kind of like cosmetic line now?
Maybe.
Because I honest to God, because I remember Rhonda Shea, and you know, sometimes when you like kind of like dallying on the computer and just like, whatever happened to Rhonda Shea? And it's like, turns out, I guess she has like a, you know, I googled it. Turns out she has like a cosmetic company or some company that's just like, wow, that's appropriate.
There you go.
Does anyone know who the first woman was to pose nude in a movie?
No.
Ooh.
No, I don't know who is.
American?
Hey, Lamar.
Really?
Hedy Lamar?
Yeah,
No.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
I just found that out from I don't know if they call it a show. It's a two-part
Documentary?
yeah, called Assume the Position.
I like that title.
That
That
is-
is for anybody.
that is exactly what Mark Wahlberg was saying in the beginning. He says, "I like to welcome everyone to Assume the Position." I like the title. I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance, go to Amazon, buy it. You'll get a DVD with Assume the Position 101 and 102. It's like he's teaching college class, and it's about stories that made up America and the stories that make up made up.
And you know what's amazing, Kyle? The way you said it was actually better than the way Mark Wahlberg said it. Am I wrong, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I am.
you're wrong.
You're absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
Come on. Is it a surprise to
Nice.
anyone that is it a surprise to anyone why he's wrong? Does anyone know why he's wrong? I know why he's wrong.
I'm trying to be nice.
Does anyone else know why he's wrong? It's because of the PBRs. They rot the brain.
Jesus. Here we go again.
They rot the brain. I'm sorry. Maybe you'll get the hint that you shouldn't drink PBRs.
And also because I'm a cousin squirrel.
Oh God, squirrels. Kenny.
Oh, did you guys see the Squirrel Lives Matter banner I found?
No.
Yeah, it's on Discord. I put it on Discord.
Yeah, I saw it.
No.
If I could subscribe to you twice, Kenny, I would.
Well, you could be like Josh
I
and
think
buy.
Carl's in love with Kenny. I think Carl is in love with Kenny.
Oh, he just likes the content, man. He just likes the content.
I love the content.
See? It's the content.
And he loves the conversation too.
Oh yeah, we always have a good time on here, man. I always like having everyone on here. You guys are all pretty awesome. As long as Tim, doesn't drink PBR. We're good.
I tell you what, Kenny. I sent you a message earlier on one of the post. It was a repost of your live stream,
Okay.
and again, you mentioned PBR. I wasn't in the stream. You mentioned PBR, and then I put in the comments, why don't you just do a whole panel of people who just rag on PBR?
We did that. We had when we were talking about beer we like, and we went off on PBR. You were there. You remember?
No, but I'm talking a whole panel, just a whole hour or two. Just let me have it.
But I don't
could.
think there's that much interesting stuff about PBR though.
No, but we could definitely like rag on you for hours, Tim.
Yeah, if we could just do like a subscriber roast, and you could be the first one roasted. How's that sound?
You know what? I love a good roast.
All right, let's do a subscriber roast. We'll set one up.
Okay, but all you guys got to agree too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll get roasted too. No problem.
We have to make a schedule.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Then we'll do Chief next. We'll roast Chief next.
Yeah, Chief's got to get roasted.
Man, after all the years I've been in law enforcement, yeah, you probably should roast my ass.
Damn right. Well, I'm sure there's some stuff that we can talk about.
It's like, oh God, I thought I smelled bacon. Oh, hi, Chief.
Oh, hell no! What the hell is that, man? Come up with something
That's what
original.
we're all about.
No, Tim, I'm eating bacon on my burger right now. So that's what he's doing.
So speaking of squirrels, I actually found out that you know that Joey the squirrel that made a message in one of my videos. He actually has a YouTube account now.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if he's gonna start doing videos or not, but I saw a Joey the squirrel account. And I don't know. I'm kind of worried about that. What's he gonna try and pull?
Well, Kenny, I have to tell you, I had an experience the other day. I think it was like Monday or Tuesday. Yes, it involved squirrels. And you know what? I've been thinking about the squirrels. More importantly, Mama Squirrel is eyeballing me for the last 5 days now. Okay. But,
I know where this is going. Oh, I know what you're going to say. You went over, you asked Mother Squirrel on a date. Go on.
And she doesn't like Patrick Swayze. So I'm like, screw you, bitch. No, I'm kidding.
You screwed the squirrel? What the hell?
That's that PBR talking now.
Hey guys, you know what? Save that stuff for the roast, because if you keep using it up now, you're gonna get nothing.
It's true. That's a good point.
Okay, but anyway, what was happening the other day? I was trying to fix like the overhang of my back porch, and it's like vinyl siding type thing and whatever. But anyway, the whole point is there was a piece of like the underhang of the roof hanging down, and I saw all leaves and everything like that. And so I'm like, I go to pull them all out. I pulled out 2 baby squirrels and a mother. And they all 3 of them hit the ground. The 2 babies hit the ground. Oh my God. I honestly felt horrible, Kenny. I thought I was going to cry.
Oh, wow.
I have no shame admitting that. I thought I was going to cry. I felt so horrible. One of them couldn't even, wasn't even able to open its eyes yet. But the cool thing is, though, I ran to a neighbor panicking, asking for help and everything like that. And she's like, don't touch them. Mommy's going to come back and get them if they're okay.
Yes. As soon as you touch them, they won't even go near them at all.
Yeah. And sure enough, the mother took one away after my conversation with my neighbor. And while I was sitting in the driveway, waiting for her to get the other one, she came down, and I can't even describe it. It was just like an incredible scene to see what this mother did. And basically, she got her kid, and basically in 2 weeks, made it into the tree with the kid in her teeth, by the scruff. And she saved the kids, but it was just like horrible. I thought I killed the babies. Oh,
Oh wow. Well, at least you didn't. That's good.
yeah. Thanks, Taco. Gosh, I'll remember that.
All right. So for the people that just
Anybody else in the panel know why the mother won't touch them after they've been handled?
Oh,
that I don't know.
It's your
It's the pheromones that come off our hands and our fingers, and squirrels can recognize that pheromone as a predator. So they mistake their own children for predators, and that's why they abandon them.
Oh
Was that
wow.
what happened to you, Chief?
Yeah. Hello.
Is that what happened to you, Chief?
What do you mean, man? What the hell are you talking about?
Never mind. I'll let you work on that one.
save it for the roast.
You guys need to work on your roasting skills. Come on, guys. Come on.
You know
You gotta do better during the roast.
If my mother had the option of abandoning me, I would have been a street urchin at 5.
No, the point is to roast other people, not yourself.
Well, either way.
I'm glad I'll be the first because you guys are hopeless. I will tear you guys apart.
Oh no. We're gonna get Joe Cool on here, and you'll really be feeling it then.
Well, Joe.
We'll get Joe. We can get Kate. Come on, maybe we can get AB to come on. I mean, come on. We'll get people that'll roast the shit out of you. Make sure you have all.
Damn, I guess I'm in the gun side.
Oh. Dude, bring it on. I don't care. I mean,
I know you don't.
Hey, if it makes people happy.
Then of course we can get Taco. We can get Taco involved. Maybe Joe Kaiser too.
For some reason, my balls hang so low. Oh, thanks, Taco. I'm sorry.
Only Taco knows that information. Why?
It's super secret government stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, my uncle said not to tell anybody anything. I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. I didn't mean to offend anybody.
Well, I've been offended since you got on, so.
I've been offended since he hit the subscribe button.
Oh my God. Hey guys, this is Josh Abrams. Make sure you click subscribe on Kenny Klein TV.
As long as we leave.
You got to do News Now, Patrick. When he got arrested the last time down in Texas, he did the e-begging so fast, he didn't even make it out of the parking lot before he was e-begging. He's like, well, this is going to cost money. I have to hire an attorney. Can I get some donations, maybe $20 for your best donation? I'd be like, screw you, dude. You got your own self-arrest. Bail your own ass out.
Speaking of the e-begging, you got to at least give Josh credit. At least he tries to pull out the heartstring buttons and the pride before he asks for money. Patty, it just comes out and says, guys, I need money. Josh will go like, guys, look at what this person's doing. America is so awesome, and I do so much for America. America. I need money. America. Patty's just, I need money.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, just the other day, I got a couple of threatening comments in the comment section on some of my videos from Accountability for All.
Really?
I swear to God, this happened like 2 days ago. He sent me a comment in the comment section, and he said, "Are you impersonating a police officer? Because I don't think you're a police officer anymore. You say you're retired, but you say you're still a police officer." Well, yeah, I am retired, but I am still a reserve. you know, and he just sent me like a couple of inflammatory texts, and I was like, what the hell? I don't even have like 145 subscribers, man. He's like worried about me.
Yeah,
It's
well,
probably it's probably the fake Josh. There's a fake Josh.
are you? Do you still have those?
Oh yeah.
Or was it Tim? Did Tim send those comments over?
Ah.
No, it said accountability for all, and his mugshot was right in the little icon. So I think it was.
Click on
it
the
might
name. If you click on the name, it'll take you to the page. And if it's his, it's his. If it's not, it's not. Because there's one that's fake that's created like 3 weeks ago. That account was actually created 3 weeks ago. So yeah, if you click on the name, it'll take you to their page. And if it's his, then it's his. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that none of you people have ever seen me and Josh together at the same time. Interesting.
We already know
true.
this. We know this. You're preaching to the choir, Tim.
Well,
There
the
it
thing
is.
is, you know, if it was the right Josh, he's totally. He can't understand why the next police officer would be so passionate about it. You know, he's like, and if I'm not mistaken, he just got arrested not too long ago for impersonating a police officer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
in India, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still facing those charges too after his Massachusetts arraignment this week, right?
He's actually going to start court next year for the impersonating of police.
Right.
The court
And-
date's for like September 2021.
well, but he has a current one in Massachusetts on September 17th.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And all that
He
stuff.
does, yeah. And everyone's saying that he's not going to.
I would pay $1,000 to be in that fucking courtroom.
Actually, I think all you need is 800, Chief.
Hey, now we're in bargain basement court.
And you know what? He'll
And,
go through this.
You guys, stuck. I'm sorry. You go stuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. You shut up now while I talk, all right? Is impersonating a police officer considered a felony or is it a misdemeanor?
It's a felony, but it's a low. It's like it's
lower end. Yeah,
it's real low.
yeah. I mean,
He still faces jail time, but
yeah.
with
that's
COVID, he probably won't serve it.
You know, Massel reports they did a thing the other night, and you know, everybody in the panel and in comments seemed to think that Josh is going away for a long time. And I'm like, I'm telling you, this is Massachusetts. Josh ain't going anywhere.
Well, the thing is, even if he gets convicted and he does do some time, I don't think it'd be a long time. But I don't think Josh can survive in prison. I mean, he's going to be one of those guys that get in there and just fucking implodes and like balls up in a little little tiny ball. He's gonna go nuts. They're gonna have to put him in the mental health ward.
He'll become somebody's boy toy.
No, Josh has done time before. He'll be fine. But
He
I just don't think,
former hockey player.
Yeah, but there's a difference between county time and penitentiary time, though.
yeah. Well, he's been convicted of felonies before. He's done time. I mean, this is not new for Josh. It's just for completely different reasons. Well, no, not the charge he's facing in Massachusetts is like right before he became an auditor.
Well, I tell you what, the more felonies and misdemeanors you rack up, that there's more likely a chance that they're gonna hit you with a habitual offender offense.
That's what they're trying to do to him in Indiana. Get a habitual offender for him. That's what they're attempting to do. If they'll do it, I don't know, but that's what they want to do.
Wow, guys, I just thought of something.
Oh God, no, don't share your thoughts, please.
It's the PBR again.
I'm just
What
finished eating my
if
dinner.
Josh is possessed by a spirit? That kind of ties into the conversation, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. That's the stupidest thing I've heard.
Well, I was reaching. I know.
I think Josh has been possessed by YouTube University.
Yeah. A
Joe,
lot of these guys have.
the story has changed so much. First, he said he he got the better of him, and he was lucky to do it. Then it changed, when he beat his ass. It really just depends on who's asking and if he's feeling himself or not. I mean, that's the thing with Josh. I found out the more angry he gets, the more he talks, the easier it is for him to lie, and the more the story changes. Because depending on how he feels, is the amount of lying he's gonna do.
You know, and the sad part is he's doing himself no good over the long term.
No.
Absolutely no good.
Or anybody around him.
Well, not only that, but when you get booked into jail so many times, they have what they call a quick file, where if you've been in jail multiple times, they can pull your name up anywhere in the country, even in the Washington D.C., Alaska, or Hawaii, and they can take you into custody if you attain that level of offenses. Yeah, even the FBI might get involved, or the U.S. Marshals to come get you. You know, you're not going to get away from that shit.
Now, Chief, does that tie into like the whole DNA thing that Josh did in Indiana?
Oh, that was so stupid.
It can. I mean, I don't remember what happened in Indiana. You're going to have to kind of update me on it.
He claimed that he refused to give DNA when DNA is required when you're booked of a felony in Indiana. He claimed he refused it, and they allowed him to refuse it. I don't see that happening at all. There's no choice.
I don't know. I mean, most of the time, especially if you are arrested for operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, they will take you down and either make you blow, and a lot of people refuse to blow. But we here in Ohio can take you down to the hospital and take blood test.
Blow what, Chief?
What?
Refuse to blow what?
I'm sorry.
Okay, guys.
Oh yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, no, it's it was the breathalyzer, the intoxilizer.
Oh, breathalyzer.
Let me clarify that. Yeah, so you know, you refuse to blow in the breathalyzer, they have to take you down the ER and draw blood. And the blood
clarification.
Multiple samples. They can be used for multiple samples. They can be used for intoxication level, BAC level, and they can also be used for DNA.
But this is different. Like in Indiana, it's part of their state law. If you are arrested of a felony in Indiana, you are required to give your DNA to put in the NCIC database. That it's required. You don't have a choice on that. Josh claims that they asked him if to do it, and he said no, he's not going to do it. He ripped up the paper in front of them, and they said no. Now what do you want for lunch? Steak, eggs? You got it, Mr. Abrams. That's Josh's.
Well, wait a second. Wait a minute. Okay, like back up just a second. It's when you're arrested, you're required to, or when you're convicted?
When you're arrested, you are required to give your DNA.
Okay, I'm required. So if I got arrested and it turns out later that I'm acquitted of whatever stupid thing that I'm getting, done.
You can. I believe you can then get the DNA removed from the system. I believe.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
The order has to be given by a court of law under an expungement motion. You have to make a motion for expungement of the evidence, and that's the only way that DNA suppressed.
And the only thing expungement does is it keeps it from the public, including an employer. The record of your arrest, and I'll wager your DNA lineup will still be in the NCIC database, because you never lose your arrest record when it comes to police investigations.
Right. So even if you're not convicted of any crime and you were let off for whatever reasons, it's still in the database, that's stupid. I'm sorry. It should be one conviction.
Okay, this is the thing. If you file expungement motion, and the judge hears your argument, and the judge considers, okay, this person, especially in a non-conviction, they're going to say, okay, this person should be absolved from all of the evidence, and only a judge can make that happen. You have to have a court order to suppress all of that information. Now, however, at the federal level, if you get DNA tested, your stuff is going to be in the library forever. And I don't know if you guys know this, but everybody in the military has they have their DNA patterns on file in case you get KIA and they have to identify you later. And it's like all these other people, like they don't have to, like if they're arrested in Ohio, they're not required to give a DNA sample up front. If they do get convicted and they go to the penitentiary, then they DNA test them and have that on file.
Which I agree.
And Chief, I'm sorry, Chief, Kenny, this is kind of like the conversation we were having about DNA, a couple weeks ago. Remember?
Yeah.
Slippery slope. I'm sorry for interrupting, Stuck.
It is, but you got to think of it this way, Stuck. Like, just because they are convicted doesn't necessarily mean they didn't do it. Look at OJ. Look at there's a lot of examples. So so I don't really have an issue with them doing it when they're arrested, because I mean, there could be a lot of factors that come into play why the conviction didn't happen. So
that's why we have the justice system in place, and we have to kind of go with, assuming that it's all on the up and up. If you are absolved of a particular offense or crime or whatever, then you should be absolved, and your evidence of your DNA should be removed from the system until the next time. End of story. I mean,
oh wait, hold on. That's
you'll have to talk to your legislature about that.
Oh well, I know that, but I mean, that's the way I see it right now. I'm sitting here looking at that way.
But that's interesting.
If you can't talk to your local legislature, I suggest you call Will Turbin, because he has no problem talking to any of his legislatures. Jeez.
It's interesting to hear you say that, Stuck, because I remember the last time we had the conversation, you were all for everyone giving their DNA just when they were born. But now
I am. No,
but then you're against someone's giving their DNA if they're not convicted of a crime?
No. Okay, all right. I'm stating that based on the existing system right now.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough.
If it was in the ideal world, that I would see that everybody's DNA should be on file, period, in the ideal world. But that's when you're born, your DNA is submitted into this master database, and it's done. But in today's society, this is the way I see it. If you're not convicted of anything, then you should be, that's it. You're free and clear, period.
The only thing about the DNA evidence in the states that require when you're arrested, that is a big push by law enforcement to prove a lot of unsolved rapes. And that's where this whole catalog thing came up, because you know what? You arrest some douchebag for DUI at 3:30 in the morning on a Friday, you haul him in, you take his blood, you take his DNA, you fingerprint the asshole, and then it comes back to his DNA, said, hey, this guy raped 8 girls, and that's the reason they do that.
Yeah. It helps solve a bunch of crimes. It's unsolvable crimes, which is good.
Exactly. Crimes that would not normally be prosecuted because they just didn't know the DNA sequence of the suspect.
No,
Absolutely.
But don't they? Okay, so you haul this guy's ass in for a DUI on a Friday night, and then you've done some further research, and you suspect, don't you have to get a court order to get his DNA?
No, because once he's arrested in the state that once he's arrested of a felony, you're required to give DNA, so there's no need for a court order. It's a law in that state.
Arrest but non-conviction. Yeah. Okay.
Well, see, we do not have that in Ohio. They do not DNA test arrestees or convicts in Ohio. If they are sentenced to penitentiary, they do have to give a DNA sample. But I don't know about Indiana. I guess Indiana is proactive in rape investigations, because that's why this whole DNA thing came up. Because you can really prosecute some hard-ass guys that did some really bad things through DNA, and they're going to get punished when normally they would not have, even been suspected of the crime at all.
Absolutely.
And I'm off the grid because I've never been tested. And I was in the military, but long before they started that.
Oh, nice. There you go.
But isn't the military database kept separate from what the FBI and the police forces use?
They can,
yes,
but
it's a separate database, but they can file paperwork to see that information.
Oh yeah, okay, so they can still access it, but it's two very separate databases.
All they do is they get a court order, the judge orders it sent over to the military. Military runs it, and they'll say yes, this person matches for this or that and the other thing, but they're not going to open up their database to law enforcement.
No, no. With good reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, guys, Bill Peterson, I think, has the best, what do you call it, urban legend so far.
But there's an auditor named Josh who comes out and harasses the community and wastes resources. Yeah, that is a hell of an urban legend for you right there.
But instead of a camera in his hand, he has a hook.
Are you okay, Tim?
Man, I
What?
think the PBR is getting to him.
Did anyone see Demand the Truth? He actually interviewed this Moorish guy. I couldn't believe it.
No, I didn't see that.
He's someone from riseofthemoors.org. He interviewed him. He was like actually like believing everything this dude would say. I'm like, oh my God, Will is a supporter of the Moorish. I mean,
What?
it doesn't surprise me, but wow. Openly, he actually interviews this dude and is taking him seriously.
Sure, he wasn't just like lying to him,
No.
like he did to everybody
No.
else.
No, he was taking what this dude had to heart and co-signing it and everything.
Wow.
I couldn't even get through the whole thing. I was like, oh my God, is he really doing this? I just went through the comments. People were all like, this dude's full of shit. Will, you just lost a subscriber because of this. It's like, geez. Well, I mean, I know you're into
Did he put
conspiracy
down the
theories,
website?
but now you're just into the world of make-believe too?
Fantasyland, next stop.
Holy
Next stop,
crap.
Fantasyland.
Oh, I miss Mr. Rogers. He
Hey,
made
let's
snip
get
of
back to urban
everything.
legends. What do you think about the Mothman, Kenny?
The Mothman? Oh, jeez.
Oh.
I don't know.
know.
I don't believe in the Mothman. I don't think there's any validity to that.
No, you suck.
We have a lot of people down there at Point Pleasant, West Virginia that would disagree.
I know.
Well, what do you guys think? Okay, this expands it out a little bit further, but what do you guys think about the whole legend with the Bermuda Triangle?
I believe there's some crazy shit going on there. I don't know if it's paranormal or supernatural, but there's definitely something going on there. There's just too much crazy shit that's happened.
Has
Well,
anything happened there recently?
The oceanographers suspect it's because there's a lot of currents that come from each way, and when they collide in that certain area from the Bahamas all the way up to South Florida, the rocks and the canyons underwater make those waves jack up really high and hard, and there's a lot of ships that go down. I've seen waves that just can kill a ship, and not only that, I've seen guys surf waves that could kill a ship.
Not just ships, it's airplanes.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, I've heard stories that there's some sort of the magnetic field is so strong there, and it messes with planes' compasses and their flying instruments. I've heard stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the old days,
like when one current smashes against. I'm sorry.
Hold on, guys. One at a time.
Sorry. You go, Chief. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying the old instruments were very, very affected by magnetic forces, and Kenny's absolutely right. For some reason, there's a lot of magnetic force down there, and they're not sure why. However, modern planes fly through that thing every day, hundreds of times a day. There's all kinds of flights going down there to the Bahamas and the Caribbean, and they don't get harassed by any kind of extra sensory, input on their instruments. But that's just because evolution of aircraft and evolution of instruments.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And actually, Kenny, what I was going to say, was kind of like to kind of corroborate what Chief was saying. You got to imagine the force of waves coming from the east and waves coming from the west for like miles and miles at a stretch. I mean, it's going to cause some kind of energy. that would screw up things, I would imagine.
It was a
Yeah.
force.
Am I wrong? I mean, I was a business major, so
Hey, water is one of the most powerful forces on Earth. And if you take an ocean and another ocean, hot water versus cold water, it's going to collide and it's going to make high surf. I mean, really high surf. Like take the Cape of Horn down in South America, the very, very southern part of South America. That water is so dangerous and violent that ships actually sail hundreds of miles away from that area just to go around it, where the ocean is not so violent.
It's true. Yeah, if you those waters, if you're back in the sailing days, if you got through that, you were extremely lucky.
Okay, so
Well,
actually,
a lot of old mariners, the captains decided to go east instead of west. They would go all the way around and then come back to India like that. They wouldn't sail past the Horn because that was like the really bad thing, especially for the sailing ships, because the winds are so unpredictable down there. You know, it could destroy a ship fairly quickly.
all right, so I was looking up the Bermuda Triangle, and actually, there have been a few cases of disappearing planes still. 2005, 20th, a Piper PA-23 disappeared between Treasure Cay Island, Bahamas, and Fort Pierce, Florida. There were 3 people on board. 2007, a Piper PA-310P disappeared near Berry Island after flying into a level 6 thunderstorm and losing altitude. February 23rd, the Turkish Airlines flight TK-183 was forced to change its direction from Havana, Cuba to Washington Dulles Airport after some mechanical and electrical problems occurred over the triangle. 2017, a private MU-2B aircraft was at 24,000 feet when it vanished from radar and radio contact with air traffic controllers in Miami. Plane wreckage was found later. So there still are some weird things that are happening along there. So it's still a mystery.
Still a mystery, but you know,
It wasn't me.
it's hard to say if you watch some of these shows.
It's a good mystery.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that I think is going to be interesting when they do finally figure out what the fuck's going on, you know?
Well, it's like what do you guys think about the ancient city of Atlantis? They said that a lot of extraterrestrial activity might have built that city, and they've actually kind of found where it was because they're finding big, huge blocks in square patterns for like a long ways that looks like underwater. It looks like a road, and you know, I don't know if anybody actually believes in that. I don't know if I even believe in it, but that's kind of the data they found so far.
Right, but Chief, I gotta just throw this at you. They believe they actually found Atlantis in northwest of the sands of Africa. There's a documentary I saw just actually post as of like 2019 or something like that, eh? And there's some new info on that.
I think that you see a lot more stuff on that just due to the fact that islands are always disappearing and reappearing in the ocean because of, you know, tidal changes and slips of the rock in our planet, the core. So I mean,
exactly, Kenny.
There's places that disappear all the time, and those could be mistakenly thought of as Atlantis. So I think that's one of those things that someone saw a city that was buried, and they thought, well, hey, this is Atlantis. I mean, to me, that's why I don't think I'd ever believe that one until I actually saw like some Atlanteans, and they said, yep, we're Atlanteans. We live underneath. We survive under the water. You know, which I'm not saying it's not possible because there's so much of the ocean that we don't know about. There's so much. It's the last great frontier we have.
And you think about, Kenny, you know, especially here, like I'm in Massachusetts, so we're on the coast here. We've been dealing with erosion for, decades now. You know, it's almost like I wonder if it's just, you know, a natural process.
That's a good point, Joe.
I think it's a natural process, but I think that with the rising tides, as we've seen around the country, areas that never flooded are flooding now. And I think that, like I said, it's all about warm water. If the water gets warm, the ice is going to melt. Sea level's going to rise. That's just a fact.
Yeah, and look at the South Pole. South Pole's been having its first ice-free summers in a long time.
Yeah, so is the Arctic. The Arctic Circle is starting to really recede. And actually, this is kind of a stupid fun fact on the side, but a lot of cruise lines are starting to chart ventures into the Arctic where the ice would have been, but the ocean exists now. So,
Wow.
it figures we got global warming, but some fucking cruise line wants to make a buck off it.
And they gotta make money somehow.
Right, Chief.
Somebody's gonna make money off it, right?
They might as well be the cruise line.
And not
Sure,
only
why
that,
not?
but every large military in the world is starting to build bases on the Arctic Circle.
Yep, they are. They are. What do you guys think of the Fountain of Youth? Ponce de Leon and the Fountain of Youth.
Say again?
Wasn't that down in Louisiana?
I think
Florida.
they thought of Florida. Ponce de Leon and the Fountain of Youth.
Hmm.
Well, obviously it didn't work.
Well, he never found it.
I think old
Oh, I
Ponce
thought
de
he
Leon
did.
and his crew was doing a little coca.
Now,
A cola?
if it existed, would you drink from the Fountain of Youth?
Oh wow.
To
That's
become
double edged.
to become
We were
young
talking
again?
about Twilight Zone earlier. This is like one of them Twilight Zone episodes, the one where the genie in the bottle at the pawn shop. You're asking double edged questions, Kenny.
I know. There's a reason for that.
I don't think I would. I like who I am and where I am. I don't want to go back.
Exactly.
So you guys, what about Stuck? What would you? Would you drink from the Fountain of Youth?
Yes.
What about you, Tim?
I'd take a chance.
I honestly, I would have nothing to lose by drinking from it. So
Yeah, because you're lost. You're a lost cause now. So
yeah.
drink-
So, see, don't you? Oh, Chief. Guys, don't you understand? I'm giving you material for the roast.
I would drink from it too. I think I would. I drink from the Fountain of Youth.
But
I want to live forever.
Wouldn't it suck if it was like that? In Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, if
That would suck.
you aged backwards or even forwards. Oh, jeez.
Well, he drank from the wrong cup.
Well, of course, because he wasn't a true carpenter.
He got the most extravagant cup he could find and thought that was the right one, and he was absolutely wrong.
Yeah, but if you remember, the girl is the one who set him up with the wrong cup.
Yep, she did.
Yeah. Oh, Elsa. Oh my God. Yeah.
2 of 5.
And Sean Connery was so awesome in that movie.
What about? Do you guys believe in? Was it a Mew? Isn't it Mew? It's like sort of like. Hold on.
An emu?
Like Mew. Or
He's
Moo.
talking- He's talking about Pokemon.
No, I'm not. It's like a
You mean a muse?
no.
A mute?
No,
A mute?
Mew. No.
Mute. Mute.
Spell it.
It's a M-U. Moo.
Mute.
Oh.
No.
See, it's like
That's what
it's like
that's what I tell my wife every Monday. Move over.
it's like Atlantis.
Why does that sound so familiar?
You know,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know about Atlantis, but if I were to discover a city, I want to discover the lost Aztec
Yeah,
city
Mew.
of gold.
It's a lost Mew. It's a mythical lost continent.
Oh, yes.
The land of Mew. Yes.
Oh yeah.
How is that spelled?
MU, Mew.
No, I'm sorry. There could have been E in there. I don't know. Crying out loud. I'm getting a group chat and on the panel.
Okay, so apparently I'm looking it up, and it looks like it's just another. It's another name for Atlantis. Oh, interesting. Okay,
You think they're the same place?
that's what they're thinking. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, here we go. What about the Greek mythologies? Like the stuff that Pliny the Elder.
Subject.
Pliny the Elder made, like stuff like that. Do you guys think that type of stuff happened? Do you think the Greek and the Roman gods existed at one point?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, why do you think so, Steph?
I was there.
Don't you realize that Stuck was one of the original Greek gods?
Apparently.
Learn your stuff, Kenny.
No, seriously, do you guys believe that, these things existed? The stories are true? And if so, why did the stories all of a sudden stop?
Because the civilization died out. But what I do believe, and if you go back to Carl von Däniken and his Chariots of the Gods book, that'll explain quite a lot in that, of why I believe that that's true. It wasn't actual gods, but I do believe that it was visitors came from the sky that set themselves up as quote-unquote gods.
So
But
aliens.
civilization and our understanding at that time of these things was limited. We classified them as gods.
So, like aliens.
Basically. But that's
They came from the sky.
They came from the sky.
I mean, well, yeah.
So,
Well, I don't.
That's what I believe.
but did
Okay,
they have
fair enough.
green cards, though? I think that's what people want to know.
What's that?
Did they have green cards? I think that's what people want to know.
Not necessary. Not needed.
Okay. Just want
You know,
to.
if you-
I'm throwing
if
that
you
out
look
there
at-
in case someone else did.
If you look at some of the cultures out there, like Egypt, ancient Egypt, the Aztecs, other cultures around the planet, they all have illustrations in their history of people that did not look like themselves. And okay, if you take the Greek gods, okay, and if you take the Roman gods, they had a different set of gods. Both societies kind of paralleled each other, however, they had different gods. And I think if a society believes in multiple gods, to them, those gods are real. Now, whether they're real or not in actual time and space, that
Almost,
needs to be,
almost like saints to like Catholics and Christians, right?
yeah, it's exactly, because the Greeks and the Romans, even though they had different names for their gods did the same purposes. If you check the Greek lore against the Roman lore, in Roman, I think it was Zeus. In
Was Jupiter? Jupiter.
In Greece, it was Jupiter. Yeah, I mean, but those gods did the same purpose. So, I mean, to those societies, they were very real. And not only that, but if you take the Native American people of the United States, or at least North America, before the United States existed, they believed in the Great Mother of God and the nature and, the Holy Father. They didn't call it holy, but they called it the Father. And they thought they were one in synchronicity with their surroundings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you think that maybe the visitors from space, do you think that possibly this came about from just let's say a seafaring tribe like the Northmen came up and they showed up and people didn't know where they came from and they had all this technology that no one has seen before? Do you think that they might have been and they spoke a different language, they could have been thought of as aliens to the inhabitants, like when they came to England?
Okay, well,
the first time.
The the
Let me just
Vikings,
say, I'm not
when
going to
they
tell you
came
what.
to, go ahead.
Go ahead. I've got to run, guys. But I'm not going to divulge any more about what happened back then, because you guys leave it as a mystery. So I will talk to you later, guys. All right?
Take care, bro.
Yeah.
Take
care,
Fun. All right. Behave yourselves.
Sure.
Because the reason is because, like Constitution, I believe that all the stories from back in the day, they do have some form of truth to them. I do believe that. It's just finding that truth to figure out where it came from a intelligent and from a place that makes sense. And I think that's a problem we have as humans. Everything needs to make sense to us. There has to be a reason for everything, which is why I think every religion, every society has their own little religion, and they're so easily, because there has to be a meaning. We can't just be here because of some weird trick of our nervous system, which, because that's what a lot of people believe, like that are atheists. Oh, life only exists because it's just a trick of your nervous system. That's what your soul is. It's a trick of your nervous system.
Okay, going back to the Vikings. When the Vikings landed on the UK, they landed on the north end of the UK, probably which is Scotland right now. And the Vikings came in ships.
Mhm.
The people of the UK didn't even have ships. They didn't have a navy at that time. So
Absolutely.
that technology coming up to their beaches and all these goddamn big burly guys with fucking 7-foot swords come running up the beach. Yeah,
Yep.
you're gonna think the gods are there, and you're gonna do whatever the hell they say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's usually a bad sign.
I mean, but okay, think about, like, there was a movie with Kirk Douglas called The Final Countdown, where the USS Nimitz went through some
Yes,
kind of supernatural
Mountain
storm, and they went back into the past. And then, if you actually put that in your head, can you imagine a fully loaded nuclear a nuclear aircraft carrier ends up in the Pacific Theater when World War II was just about to start? The Japanese were just about to do their assault on Pearl Harbor. That in itself, I think that was such a good movie concept-wise, that's kind of like if like when the two Japanese fighters meet up with a couple of F-14 Tomcats, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
I love that movie. It's on my what do you call it? I think it's on Amazon. It's either on Amazon or Netflix or Hulu. Either way, but love that movie. Martin Sheen too.
Yeah, Martin Sheen. Yeah, and there was a couple other actors in there, and it was an awesome movie. It was very, very well written.
Makes you think.
Yeah. So, but yeah, who knows where this alien concept from us comes from? I think that even back in the day, we knew that we were too arrogant to think that we're the only people here. And so, when we looked at the stars, we thought, well, there's got to be something out there. We think that even now to this day, and I still stand by the fact that we'd be really arrogant to think that we are the only life in the universe.
Okay, Kenny, let me ask you a question. Do you think in the future, possibly, do you think it might become like Star Trek, where we actually make contact with these beings? And if we can get over the language barrier, what do you think that outcome would attain?
Well, I look at it this way: if there is life out there, and that means all the people that saw UFOs will be right. And if that's the case, that means that their technology is so far and above ours. How do you think they would look at us? They would look at us.
They would probably look at us great. Yeah, they would look at us as primitives, like great apes.
And what do you think they would do to us? They'd probably try and take us over or something like that, or who knows?
They probably be like, "We'll be back later,"
or we'd piss them off.
Okay, look at
we'd piss them off. We'd piss them off or something. We do something. Our ego would get involved. We do something. We do something in fear because, unfortunately, we as humans, with that we would have to come together as a world in order to defend ourselves. Is that ever going to happen?
I agree that the first time we ever see an extraterrestrial being, I'm sure everybody would get their guns out because, you know, it would be so alien and so new. And it wouldn't even, I mean, people individually are smart. A group of people are stupid. You know, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Cheryl just nailed that.
Yeah, we'd audit them. Yeah, we'll send Josh out there to audit them and say, all right, guys, respect our First Amendment.
Let's send him out to be the greeter from someone from another world. Yeah, let's make
go
him
protect
our,
our First Amendment rights.
You know what the extraterrestrials will say to Josh? Hey, fuck you! I'm traveling, not driving.
You know what we should do? We should invite all the frauditods to the ceremony. Have Josh come out, and hopefully it'll be like Mars Attacks, where they just start killing everybody in the crowd, and it's all frauditods.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that too evil?
Now, do you think now
horror movies?
Now, here's a question. Now, let's say it comes to that, find out some 10, 15, 20 years from now that we find proof, undeniable proof that life exists. Do you think the world can come together enough to come up with a force that's going to defend the world? Or do you think there's just way too many differences and we're fucked?
We're screwed.
I don't think we're fucked. I mean, I don't think any of us were gonna live that long to see that. To be honest with you.
Well, I don't know. The space force is a real thing. It exists now.
Yeah, it's just like Moonraker, right? Everybody has lasers fighting each other in space.
I love that movie too.
That was a great movie.
All right, so back to the question, guys. Let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic.
Sorry.
And the topic was.
Yeah, sure. I agree. We can't come together over this virus. So I think it would be a tough ask and a tough sell to try and get the whole world to come together to defend the world. I think it would be. It's going to take a very charismatic individual. I mean, a group of charismatic individuals.
Exactly, a few, Kenny, and you know, if I could make an analogy, okay, you know, yesterday was 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody remembers that, right? You know.
Yep.
And
absolutely,
you know, that's going to be our generation's heartbreak. You know, and my mother, she lived through Pearl Harbor, and that was her generation's heartbreak. You know, so it's like, you know, let's not ignore it, though.
It's all a matter of perspective. 9/11, in my opinion, was worse than Pearl Harbor. Maybe just the same. The numbers between Pearl Harbor and the World Trade Center. I mean, both things. Every time I see a movie of the World Trade Center, it hurts my heart because it just brings back that fucking memory, you know. And I'll tell you what, but there is some good side to this because everybody that was involved with that, we have killed either with Navy SEAL strikes, drone strikes, or direct fucking sniper power.
Yeah.
So, someone brought up a great point. How will we get Africa and South Africa unified? Not only that, what about the Israelis and the Palestinians? They haven't seen eye to eye in centuries. Do you think just because the aliens show up, they're not going to care? They're like, oh, that's great. Well, that's just one extra person I can get to help kill you.
Shit, the Israelis would fire a ballistic missile at them
and piss them off.
And you know what, Kenny, and this, you know, this type of hypothetical situation makes me realize just how pissant us human beings are, because you know, okay, that if a giant alien force was to come across the world, okay, there's always going to be somebody who tries to align himself with it. It's the General Baltar complex. Yeah,
probably, or it could just be a whole country that does it. But I mean, is it really is it really hypothetical, or is it just when is this going to happen?
Inevitable.
It's probably when. I would say it's when, because you know what? Look at all the things we've seen over our lifetimes. I was born in '68. I've seen a lot of fucking shit over my lifetime. The progression of television, the progression of computers, the progression of social media. And I think that it would be like, okay, if somebody actually made contact with us, we would have to determine whether they wanted to do us harm or whether we wanted to do them harm. Now, like I said, if you have a mob mentality and people go crazy, yeah, people are going to start assaulting them without even investigating the facts.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, the Space Force, that's, I think, what I'm not even actually sure what the fucking Space Force is supposed to do. But I mean, you know, obviously they're looking out there. They're trying to realize what's going on. And I just don't think that, I mean, I would hope that if somebody did come down and contact us, we wouldn't act like a bunch of fucking idiots.
But you know, it's inevitable. Just how do we humans handle change? We don't handle change very well at all. We like things to stay the same. Look, COVID is a perfect.
We have to handle anything now.
Tim, let me finish, Tim.
I'm sorry.
All right. So look at COVID, the way we handle COVID. That was changed, and look how that got handled. The whole world mishandled it. It wasn't just us. It wasn't just the UK. The whole world mishandled that whole situation. If we can't handle a freaking new flu-like disease, how the hell are we going to handle a freaking complete different race, a race of creatures that come down and want to talk to us? You know?
Well, I'll tell you what. That has happened all throughout history. Like when the Vikings came to the UK, they didn't speak the same language, but they started learning each other's language, and that's what happened. I think it's going to be the same thing. Like when the settlers met the Native American people, they didn't know what language they were speaking. However, they figured it out after time. I think it would be the same thing for an intelligent being to come down here and start to try to communicate with us. It'd be the same thing. Sooner or later, we're going to get what they're saying.
Oh yeah, I agree. Eventually, we'll figure it out, and they'll figure out a way to contact with them and talk to them and find out exactly what they're here for, sort of thing. But it depends. Are they coming at us peacefully, or are they going to come at us aggressively?
Well, I think if they're coming at us aggressively, we're going to know real goddamn quick.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, we're going to know real quick, but it's like I honestly don't think if they came at us aggressively that we stand a chance in hell of even surviving such a thing. Because the reason I say that is because there's no way in hell they're close enough for us to know that they exist. So they're really far away. If they got here, again, their technology is so advanced that we're like, it's like bows and arrows against the freaking a Glock. There's no chance in hell. A howitzer versus freaking a bow and arrow. Who's going to win that fight?
Thanks, Kenny. Just when I thought I had conquered my depression.
Exactly. They're not going to be using bullets. They're going to be using some different. Who knows what they're going to be using? Hell, for all we know, they could say, "Hey, you kill yourself," and all of a sudden you kill yourself. We don't know what kind of weapons they're going to be using. They could have telepathy. There's a lot of things we just. That's the thing. We just don't know. This is all speculation. But the thing that we doesn't need speculation is, regardless, they're going to be far more advanced than we are, because we don't even know they exist, but they know we exist.
And yet, you know what's going to happen? We will strike first. We will
lose
strike first before we ask any questions.
Well, it might not be that way. We might. Okay, yeah. People would probably strike first because whenever people get scared, they react. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, and when people get scared in mass numbers, then it really goes bad. So hopefully, like, somebody would have a fucking idea. Hey, let's try to communicate with these people. Obviously, they're advanced more than we are because we can't go to them. They had to come to us.
I know.
We don't even know how long of a journey they had to take just to come to us, because the nearest galaxy away from us is millions of light years away.
Mhm.
So it's like they would have had to have crossed an incredible distance just to even get here.
Absolutely. And we don't know how long it took them to do it. It could have took them 5 seconds. We don't know.
Wouldn't it be funny though if they actually showed up and like they were actually less advanced than us? You know,
We've
they were
we've been
actually
traveling-
like asleep for like thousands of years before they got here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, what's a radio?
That would be weird.
Yeah, we made a million light year trip to just go and make moonshine in West Virginia.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think that's. I mean, it would be funny, but I don't think how that's possible. You know what I mean? But it would be funny. It would be funny.
You know, I got to get on the phone with NBC. I think there's a series in that. Oh, I'm sorry. They already had one called 30 Rock.
Yeah. So Cheryl says the world always works in one force. 1/4 fights, 1/4 submits, 1/4 doesn't believe it's real, and the last 1/4 will wait to see who wins. Yeah. And so somebody's got to be able to get all those 1/4 together on one page of either fighting or waiting or whatever, because one of those 1/4 is going to fuck it up for everyone else.
All it
What
takes
was,
is one
what was
person,
the
right?
movie? What was the movie that Mel Gibson did where the aliens were assaulting his house? What was that
Signs,
movie?
signs.
Signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I always had a problem with that movie because it's like he's the only guy in a rural area that doesn't have a shotgun.
Yeah.
Its own nutshell.
He may have a DUI on his record. Oh, I thought you were talking about the character. Joking.
No, he has a DUI on his record. And I saw that video, man. He acted like a freaking prick. And if you think about it, he had the money to call an Uber or a cab, but no, I'm gonna go driving down the road, fucking blasted.
Oh, Kenny, just when you thought there were no doors that couldn't be opened, I find ones.
Right. So yeah, so like no, I always like to talk about the alien stuff because it's it's really interesting. I mean, obviously it's all speculation because we don't know, but yeah, just like it's. I think it'll be interesting to see if we did find out that they're real. First of all, there are going to be those people that aren't going to wait to find out what they want, and the question is, it also depends on who's in office. Think if you have a Trump in office when you find out aliens are real, how's he going to react? Versus what Biden would do if he was in office, or versus Obama.
He would try to sell them real estate.
No, but I mean, like, seriously, like, how do you think he would react? Do you think he would he go on the attack, or would he be more inquisical? You know, would he be like wonder what they want, or would he be on the attack? Biden, I think, would be more wait and see what happens. Trump, I think, would be more we need to have some action, right? Obama, I think, would also be on the more of the side of let's wait and see.
Yeah,
you know?
Stand down.
Yeah. But Trump, I think, would be no gung-ho, let's kill these motherfuckers sort of thing. And people would love him for it. They're like, yeah, that's what we're gonna do, get her done, sort of thing. You know,
Okay,
sure.
you have to consider, okay, if you're in the military, you have to consider your opponent. What is your opponent's objective? What is your opponent's force strength? And what is your opponent's infantry level? Those are the three first questions that every general asks themselves. So if it did come to that, they would definitely deploy, like you were saying, a howitzer, a battery of howitzers if they made like a landing on the beach or if they made a landing in Midwest America.
The thing is, it depends on the president because each president is going to react differently, and they're the ones that are in charge of the military. The military doesn't get to just pick and choose what they want to do. They have to listen to the president. So I'm thinking Biden.
I don't think either Trump or Biden would get out of line with somebody like that because they have to have the more information they have, the better it is. And I don't think either one of them would be like real quick to respond.
And,
Well,
and
I
honestly, Kenny, honestly, I don't think that's really a fair question because, I mean, we are, literally light years away from that possibility of happening. It's not going to happen in our lifetime. So it's kind of unfair to assume what, like, current leaders, former leaders would do in such a situation. I mean, it's like putting, like, Winston Churchill in Madden, 2010. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
well, I don't know. Trump's like current. Why wouldn't doing a current just based off of their history and how they've handled other situations, you can make an educated guess of what you think they would do.
Mm. Well, I
Okay,
mean,
and
I
with
think at the very least, Trump would be on the defense.
yeah,
Okay,
I
fair enough.
agree. I think Trump would strike first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to ask some fantasy warfare type thing. I'm just saying, if this type of president was in power at the time that we found out aliens would exist, what would they do? What about like you can go back to Roosevelt or Andrew Jackson or whoever? You know what I mean? Or what about
Yeah.
Putin? What would Putin do? You know?
I mean, and honestly, Kenny, I actually kind of have to disagree with Chief as far as like whether Trump would be the one to strike first. I honestly think another country would attempt to strike first before the United States.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Putin would definitely fire first, way before we would, because they're all so paranoid over there, and that's their culture. They live in a culture where the government rules everything that they do, so they don't even have a choice. Putin would be like, "Oh, fire! Okay, fire!"
I disagree. I don't think I think Putin's too smart to do something like that. Now, Kim Jong Il, no, yeah, he would fire first. He'd be the one to start galactic war. Kim Jong Un,
Yeah,
North Korea.
but he doesn't have any rockets that can go very far, though. He only has like medium range rockets.
Well, they're working on some.
Hayes just posted something. Build a wall and make Maz pay for it. I love these comments, guys.
Putin would. So Pat Dagler says Putin would handle things better. I don't think he handled things all that badly. I think he's too smart to react that way. Now, Kim Jong Un, no. Freaking what's his name?
The Ayatollah.
Yeah, he would handle things completely and utterly wrong. I think Iran would do very well under the situation. Israel would look to us, I believe, but I think they'd be pretty more aggressive than we are because Israel is more aggressive than the U.S. is. It seems in the grand scheme of things, it seems like they're a lot more aggressive than we are.
Well, the Israelis are ready to fight on the drop of a dime.
That's what I mean. I think they would be. I think we might be one of the last countries to actually get involved, but everyone would want us to get involved real quick. But I think we'd be, at least the president's advisors would say, hey, calm the fuck down, chill the fuck out, wait and see, sort of thing. If the president listens to that advice, that's one thing or another. But the advice would be to chill out, don't get involved, sort of like what happened in World War I or World War II. Sorry. We didn't get involved right away.
Can you let me ask you a question? If you were the president of the United States and you were faced with that situation, what would you do?
I'd go on TV and I'd say, well, the question.
Now remember, you got the weight of the world on your shoulders.
And you go on TV.
Like I said, I go on TV and I let them know. I'd be like, well, first, now we know things are true. Everyone just calm down. We don't know why they're here. We can't assume that they're here for any nefarious reasons. We'll wait and see, but we will be ready to defend our way of life at the drop of a dime. But we're not going to assume they're here for any other reason because we're not going to try and kickstart some galactic war that we don't even know what type of weapons they have. We don't have any kind of surveillance on them. We don't know anything about them. So it'll be stupid of us to try and go out there and start a war. That's what I do. I try and calm everyone down as much as I could.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. But you know, they say like if extraterrestrials were to land on the planet, if you're in the physics community, you know, the physics community, they say physics exists throughout the entire universe. You know, up is up, down is down, gravity is gravity, weapons are weapons, and even though a species may have a way bigger efficiency in weapons than we have, we still have weapons that can tear the shit out of flesh and bone. And if they're actual beings, then we can shoot back just like they can shoot at us.
I agree,
think we're
Taze.
going on a stretch there.
I totally agree, Taze. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Hayes is the best. Well, one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Chief? What would you do if you were president?
Ooh.
Oh man, that's hard because I've never been a politician. I think I would consult my intelligence leaders. I think I would consult NASA to see exactly what we're dealing with, because if you think about it, NASA and JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratories, they really control the skies. And there's some amateur, astronomers out there that have their own high-powered telescopes, but I think I would consult NASA. I would consult my Joint Chiefs of Staff, and I would consult to the point where, okay, is armed response possible? Is an armed response going to be effective? Or is it better to see what happens and maybe try to negotiate? But then, like I said, you have a language barrier. They're not going to come down to earth speaking English. So I think that I would be on a caution side, but I would also consult my experts to see what the threat is, where they are, how far they're away from us, and what we can do.
Yeah, fair enough. But now, how would you address the American people? You would have to say something.
I mean, I would tell the American people, okay, we have a problem. We're not quite sure how serious it is. Everybody just take care. We're not being attacked right now. So we're going to try to establish communications. If we can't, we'll have a plan B. But I think for the most part, I would try to tell the American public to,
calm down.
Kind of stand up, stand by. We're not quite sure what's going on. Don't
Absolutely.
retaliate on your own. Don't retaliate on your own. Let us try to make communication. And
Absolutely.
like I said, when the people from the old world came to the new world, they couldn't talk to the natives and the people, the indigenous people that lived there. They had to learn their language, and I think it's a process. So if I was president, I would order my military to stand down until I gave them the fucking order.
Interesting.
Absolutely. We don't need anyone going all half-cocked.
Never.
What about you, Tim? What would you do? What about Tim? What would you do?
Honestly, as president, if this were to happen today, this is what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Honestly, I think while authorizing our generals to, prepare to defend themselves, I'd probably be on the phone with like Putin and all the other world leaders and just saying to them, you know what, we don't know what their intentions are, but let's let them know that we're not pushovers. We're ready to strike when we have to, even if it means our lives.
Absolutely.
I mean, but that's just me. I think that strategy would actually work because, imagine if you were an alien and you came upon a planet that had no defense set up whatsoever. It's like, God, really?
Yeah. Right.
But
It's like
we also have to consider that it might not be actual like direct weapons. They might come down here and use a biological weapon to wipe us out before we even get a chance to respond.
It's true.
wow.
What about you, Carl? What would you do if you were president?
I say they can do whatever they want as long as they leave my stash of nuts alone.
All right. Diver, would you care to answer the question?
Come on, Dava. I love having you on panels. Or I should say being on panels with you. Or just witnessing your panels. Come on.
I think he's probably maybe he's doing something else. He might be eating dinner or something. Who knows? All right. Well, I'm gonna end this one. It's been going about 3 hours now. That's enough. That's good enough.
Yeah,
guys.
we kind of like veered off from the whole urban legends and stuff, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
A little bit.
A little bit, but that's okay. Well, no one else is coming up to talk about them, so yeah, we can do something else. Yeah, so next week we'll be talking about it'll be all 80s. So just come prepared to talk about 80s. We're gonna have an 80s themed quiz. That'll be fun. So brush up on your 80s.
Yeah, I'll get my what do you call it? Members only jacket out of the closet.
Get your members only jacket. Make sure you get your corduroys and make sure they're nice and make sure you get them nice and clean, and then get your get the Aquanet out.
Finals.
Bust out the Aquanet.
Actually, do
that was the old wet look, man.
Yeah.
No, not Aquanet. Aquanet was for the girls, but
yeah.
Did they stop making Aquanet?
I think they still make it.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Because I thought that for some reason I thought the government said like, holy shit, do you know how much toxins are in that, and just said like stop making it.
There was a lot of toxins in it. All right, guys, this was a lot of fun though. So next week, next Saturday, all 80s. Brush up in your 80s, and I expect to see some of these people that are just talking in chat come on up and take part in the quiz.
Yeah, like Cheryl.
Least. Just come up and take part in the quiz, if nothing else. It should be a lot of fun. And any 80s stories you have, maybe what you were doing during the 80s, bust out the resume, see what job you're working in the 80s, and we'll talk about some of the big political happenings in the 80s. We're just going to do all kinds of stuff. It should be a lot of fun. And of course, if you're someone like Police Escalation Task Force here who doesn't really remember the 80s, there's these things that are called encyclopedias. You can look it up and find out all you need to know about the 80s, bro. All you need to know. Remember, encyclopedias.
The libraries are closed.
There's the internet too.
You're bringing me back to my old times at LAPD.
The internet has encyclopedia too. Okay, Wikipedia. There you go. Just put in 1980. Put a year in, and it'll tell you all kinds of stuff.
They were inventing the components and the interconnection of them during the 80s for the internet.
See? There's a lot of stuff we could talk about when it comes to the 80s. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And also in the 1980s, you'll see pictures of Flock of Seagulls.
That's right. Oh, and let's not forget everyone's favorite teenage crush. Well, at least if you were a teenager back then, Tiffany.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Tiffany.
Tiffany was cute, but she was a horrible singer.
Yeah, agreed.
You gotta see what she looks like now.
Yeah, not so great.
Hey, she had a good manager.
She did.
Yeah, you forgot the biggest thing in music back then. MTV.
Oh yeah,
back when MTV actually played videos.
Yep.
Exactly.
When MTV first started was the 80s.
Yep. That's right. So yeah, it's going to be a
I
lot
was
of fun.
actually there. It actually started in '78. I was there because my family in California, Southern California, we were one of the first places on the block to have cable, and nobody knew what cable was. We had an A and B switch for the HBO because we had HBO, and you would flip from A to B. A would be your regular TV service, and then B would be the movie channels. And I'll tell you what, man, they only when HBO started, they only showed 2 movies a night, from 8 to 10, and then from 10 to 12, and then they would shut up. But I'll tell you what, when MTV started, they started with the Buggles. Video Killed the Radio Star, and I actually saw that live while it was happening.
Yep. So it should be a lot of fun.
Chief, here's a question for you. Can you name the very first VJ to appear on MTV? Because obviously you saw the Buggles video.
Downtown Charlie Brown, was it?
That was the guy, the guy with the dark hair. I can't remember his name, but that was the guy with the dark curly hair, right?
Actually, it was JJ.
JJ. Okay, I don't remember, but I'll tell you
the
what.
Black guy.
And then you know what? There was Anita. I can't remember what her name was either.
Oh, Nina Blackwood.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I mean, and
I almost said Nina Hotley. Oh,
you know, the funny thing is, all those MTV guys that started as VJs in the beginning, they're all in corporate. They're all in corporate offices of MTV. They're still there. They're still working.
Except Kennedy. Kennedy's on Fox.
And doing quite well.
Yes, she is.
I mean, she calls it like it is.
She does. I actually enjoy watching Kennedy. All right, guys. Well, we're going to call this one. It's getting kind of late. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Tim, thank you. Chief, thank you. Diver, Carl, thanks. Should have a video.
Kenny, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Take care, Kenny. I had a good time.
As always,
I had a great time. Thank you.
All right, guys. So
Always.
Bye,
see you
everybody.
again. See you with another video tomorrow. All right, y'all. Peace.